YouTube. Noah Samson. The Vaush effect. This is not a drama video. It is not a drama video. That's why I made sure to go into it saying that it was a drama video by not saying it was a drama video. Oh, Samson. You silly, silly man. You silly, silly man. Silly, silly, silly Billy. Billy Killy. Billy Gilly. And oop, wrong screen, not even on the right screen. Stream manager, thank you. And Mark. I'm gonna try for one more time. She not picking up. Okay. This is not about clout. This is not about drama. This is about content creator ethics. So let's start off there. 0. The Vaush effect is not about drama. It is about creator ethics on the internet. But, is it though? And the reason I say, but is it though, is this is the timeline that we're actually dealing with. And he'll actually lay out the timeline here, inside the video, and his preamble. But here's the context, alright? Noah Samson makes solving the debate bro problem, where he explicitly says, hey, the reason why all of this shit is a fucking problem is because you guys fucked up. You guys literally couldn't fucking handle the fact that everything has become poor from you doing this shit. Professor Fowlers is a debate me bro. FD Signifier is not a debate me bro. In fact, in his videos on this channel that we have already seen and watched, we have heard it from his own mouth. He despises debate me bros. So Xanderhall goes into that, Vaush goes into that, Hassan goes into that. Noah Samson makes a video about the shit. People, as you can clearly see here in the fucking thumbnails, you have these individuals, all of these people, who at some point in time have been reacted to, mocked, made fun of, or have been what it is, have grown outside of the connections. And what would have been considered the people of old, who held the majority of power, are now the people being replaced going towards in the future. And this was then made clear with multiple amounts of discourse through people saying that it's debate bros versus essayists. And the entire argument spawns from the fact that BreadTube as a whole is separated between two classes of creators. The people who make videos, well-structured, not to say that they actually are perfect with content. That's an entirely different discussion. Structured videos that target in chapters structured specific positions that are based on happen place that is currently taking place in front of people, and dealing with the topics, the arguments, the individuals, and the clout, and the audiences that feed off said clout that allow this to be possible. You can see this clearly. You can't see it here because the screen's not big enough, so I'm gonna have to show you. But you can see here, on Noah's videos, this is the clear case. Look, right there. You see it? I'll make it bigger so you can see it. You see those chapters? We're talking about multiple chapters of laying out a discussion-based context. And it's from this context that you can actually understand the position that he's coming from. Whether he's doing so in honesty or in distruth, there is a nugget and a kernel that can be understood and discussed here. What is this? That is my alert box. Center it. Lock it. You can be able to get a nugget of truth here. And the nugget of truth is, hey, debate me bros don't actually discuss shit. They just endlessly debate. They're constantly attacking other people. They're constantly attacking issues. They're constantly attacking concepts. And pulling those concepts down and saying, hey man, wouldn't it be so great if we did what I wanted rather than what you wanted? Because don't you know, there's so many problems in what you want. It could never be properly well implemented. A panel of multiple people circle jerking around themselves, never being able to get to the point of an argument, but always having something to say about something else. But on the other side, videos, long form and structure. Why does my shit look like it's still out of focus? Okay. Long form, with multiple pieces and parts that have to be understood, that need to be watched from beginning to end to get context. All of these people are talking past each other. The video format does not properly lend itself to the live stream format. Because now when you're talking about a single video, maybe 8, 10, 15 minutes, turn that into an hour and 30 minutes of a take and a reply. But when we're talking about something that, in this case, would be a person going on to a broadcast, and we're talking about 50 minutes, 56 minutes. Xanderhall doing a live stream cut of 2 hours and 35 minutes. These are EFAP hours, guys. This is EFAP link content. And there's obviously an audience for this, because that's the reason why Chud Logic exists. Chud Logic, Daoquan HQ, DGGNN News, all of those kinds of channels, including Stitch and Adam. Stitch and Adam probably being a cut above the rest, especially since they're basically the EFAP of political news. You have all of these individuals and all of these different perspectives that can be had from the inside position of the infighting, where they're constantly attacking and eating their own, from the outside position of people watching this trash fire and saying, bro, what the fuck is even going on? How did we get here? And then from the shitpost position, either at the middle, at the bottom, or the top of the trash fire, that's just saying, bro, you seeing this shit? And that's where we're at. We're in the middle of the spectacle happening, watching around us. We're not associated to any of the sides that are currently participating in the problem. We can pass judgment on the problem, because unfortunately, the thing that they're doing war in is what effectively amounts to our country. And by our country, I mean our hobbies. You're having a shit-flinging fest using the internet as discourse about how people need to have the ability to be more responsible with their platforms. There was just a fucking panel about this the other fucking day that Destiny was fucking on, discussing not only how Destiny's departure from his ban on Twitch is going to affect the discourse of the internet, but more importantly, how actually creators have a responsibility to themselves and their audiences on how to create themselves and curate themselves. And it's this discussion that brings us to Noah Samsen. Solving the debate bro problem is based in the problem of people like Vaush making the left look fucking bad. Which he should, because he's fucking evil, in this person's opinion. And it's because people like Vaush are what people see, rather than the well-formulated structures of what you can get from Radio Signify. I can't see him in his straight face! I can't see him in his straight face! From the well-structured arguments that you would hear from somebody like JDF Signifier, the question becomes, how do we bridge the gap between these two sides? How do we, fair citizens of this city of Verona, how do we bring the Capulets and the Montagues of politics together? And the answer is there is no answer, because there's no Romeo and there's no Juliet. There's no story that's able to fill this gap, because it can't. It's just, like I said earlier, never-ending drama. Because the problem is that the entire reaction that led from this to the Vaush effect is what happens when somebody with a large audience critiques somebody of a smaller audience, in which case, bro, we're talking about people who are verified fucking checkmarks on the internet. I don't give a shit what Noah Samsen thinks about his position, what he thinks he has the right to do, and at the same time, I also don't care about that for Vaush, because these people are not suffering. You people are not suffering. There's nothing here for you to be suffering about. But, like, understand, and all the parts that go along with this, and all the things that are important about this, this is where we come to. This is the context. It is a never-ending cycle. By making a video about it, you ended up creating drama about it. The drama about it comes around to then being the exact same thing that Noah is currently actually complaining about. The same people that he had his opinion of, the same way that Dumermita had the opinion of Vaush, leads to people just not giving a shit about the base problem. The base problem isn't Noah Samsen. It's not even necessarily the drama of Noah Samsen. It's drama itself. You've taken headline news, bleeding article news, and current events as a whole on Twitter, in the world, and in the niche internet micro-celebrity groups that make up who you are. And you found yourself in this nexus where you don't have anything to do but to endlessly talk about your own intelligence, about your own clout, about your due diligence to what you should do for others. And the only thing you can do, rather than solve the problem, which is, hey guys, let's stop creating needless drama for clickbait. Instead, it's, hey guys, why aren't we attacking this Supreme Court official? Hey guys, why aren't we basically treating Noah Samsen like he is a, quote, Weasley-sniveling little liar? Why are we telling someone, hey bro, you need to delete your video, you're dishonest, didn't you know you got owned by Vaush? And then leading right back to what's going to be the same problem, which has now came to fruition literally an hour ago. Even if he says himself that it's not about drama, it is about drama. It is all about drama. Maybe not about himself, in this case, yes. But it's drama, period. It's bread and circus. It's popcorn. It's something for people's audiences to pop so that they can say to themselves, bro, look, see, like, you might not think it's important, but bro, it really is. You gotta know all this complexity. And nobody wants to fucking know that shit. Nobody. Realistically, anybody outside of this that has no reason to be invested other than because you motherfuckers are using the backdrop of our hobbies to have your fucking shit-slinging slap fights, we don't care. Eat yourselves. We don't care. But you're not going to do it in effectively what is our homes or our hobbies. There's no such thing as a fucking community in this sense. There is such a sense of a space, and that's really what it comes down to. It may not be about drama. But it is about the drama lol cow cycle and how it's used keep people entertained. A lot of people might not think that that's necessary for me to talk about from the onset in the beginning, but it is very important for me to explain that. It's very important for me to lay that the fuck out there, right? Because it is literally it's the informing information that fuels everything. As long as this remains true, as long as lol cows and drama cows keep doing shit to put themselves in the news, so that nobody is talking about anything other than them and how they're either a threat or a harm, and maintain a harm narrative or a threat narrative, it will never go away. And it will never change. It might not be Noah that they're bitching about next week. It might be somebody else. It might be me. It might be clone Vaush doing something stupid that exposes them again. It might be Irrelevant saying something stupid again. It might be Pants saying something, or excuse me, Jeans saying something stupid again. It doesn't matter. The person causing it doesn't matter. It's the concept. Abstract concept, real world consequence. Now, with that said,
Michael. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Check out how green everything is. Check out how green all that stuff is. Check out how green everything is. Check out how green all that stuff is. So, a little while ago, I released a video called Solving the Debate Bro Problem. This video set out to criticize two left-leaning political live streamers, Vaush and Xanderhall, for behavior that I found problematic. I looked at a few different examples, so Vaush's interaction with the smaller video essayist Professor Flowers, Xanderhall's video that was critical of myself and some other lefty content creators, and various elements of their respective communities' behavior. After the video's release, Vaush and Xanderhall both reacted to it live on their streams in videos that have since been uploaded to YouTube. They had many criticisms. I went on to Vaush's stream to talk with him about some of those criticisms. Vaush also released another video on the subject titled Solving the Video Essayist Problem, which was critical of my video's argumentation, or lack thereof. Some say that, not me though. I would never say something. I would never say that. I've linked all those in the description if you're sort of a creep that wants to watch all that stuff. The video's reception was, well, divisive might be the right word. On the one hand, you had a lot of people who understood where I was coming from, who empathized with my frustrations about these spaces, or just...
We're gonna read this. A long-winded pat on the back. Hey Noah, I appreciated your content before, but the way that you've calmed yourself over the last few days has earned my respect like no other content creator. I can't imagine the stress and pressure that you're currently under, and the actions that you've recently taken that require serious guts, humility, and circumspection. It has to fucking suck. From an optics standpoint, you seem to be in an impossible position. But through this ordeal, you're bringing something that the online left has been missing and sometimes deeply needs. I am an easily convinced person. I watch Vaush content and I'm like, hell yeah, facts and logic. But then I watch a video like yours and I'm like, hell yeah, the debate space has some deeply problematic mechanisms. And oh my god, can you guys learn how to fucking sum the fuck up in your arguments? But Carl, I know what I fucking said. The debate space has some deeply problematic mechanisms that sideline marginalized creators, and then I watch Vaush's response and I'm like, hell yeah, that Noah Sampson has left some puzzle pieces in the box and he engaged in some tactics that he substantially decries. Yeah, that's just you guys accusing each other of the thing that you're also doing. And it just so happens to be that the person with the larger audience is able to silence the other person while also making it put all the pressure on them and take the heat off themselves. That's all that is. That's deflection. Maybe I'm a smooth brain automaton for liking Vaush. You, Sean, Thought Slime, and Philosophy Tube all at once. Look at all them white people. My primary emotional response anytime drama amongst creators breaks out is frustration. Not all the creators specifically, but the nature of the attention economy. This person understands exactly what I was talking about. As I'm sure you're experiencing, harmony and solidarity doesn't just drive clicks like good old-fashioned scrap does. I think it incentivizes growing creators to adopt confrontational modes and engage in bad faith interpretations of their opposition. What I appreciated from your more adversarial video is that it puts a finger on a legitimate problem. The supporting framework for your arguments might have been stronger. And it's clear that you went for the joke in some moments when someone like Sean could have opted for a more dour, dissecting tone. What I honestly thought that you're talking about was so damn patent, dyslexia, was so damn patent, so damn obvious once attention had been directed to it, that it hardly needed the kind of analytical rigor that would have been leveled at the morality of dropping the atom bomb. I'd opt for jokes too. I feel like it was contentious, but nevertheless solid ground. Whatever, I'm not here to accept missteps or analyze your video for opportunities. I'm here to say, dude, I hope you're doing good, champ. I hope you're feeling good and not alone. I hope you're watching those view counts go up and feeling less stressed about cash flow. I hope you're planning your next video. I would say, don't tell a creator about money, because most creators don't do things for money. Some people will do it for money. I don't think Noah Samsen is influenced by money. I think he's actually influenced by his own ideas being discussed on a larger perspective, and those that aren't interested in money, Vaush, don't want it to ever be discussed because the people who have no interest in it, except for what clout they can get from it along with money, Vaush, will want to consistently shit on him just to ensure that his voice is not heard and that he's not seen. Or, to quote Hassan, he'll try to quash it so that when it blows up into bigger drama, he can centralize the narrative from, here's the shitty thing that I did, and here's me being critiqued for it, to, no, we can't believe that person. Don't you know? He's guilty of the same shit that I did. Fuck him. Fuck him. Fuck him. Also, isn't it cool how I can make the same joke that Count Dankula did, but no one's going to get me canceled, even though I have a strange fascination for horsecock? Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. Let's continue. The parasocial chat. That word's hard. The parasocial shit is insidious. I'm not going to pretend that I know you or I know you or have any insight to the deeper soul of Noah Samsen. However, I do relate more to your persona than I do other lefty creators. I feel like you're the kind of creator that I would be if I were to engage in this space, albeit probably not as stylish, funny, or some other third thing that jerks you off. What I'm saying is, I'm just a guy, but I'm a guy who resonates hard with your vibe. Not everybody watching your videos in this vertical. No, I read that correctly. Not everyone watching videos in this vertical. What the fuck is the vertical? Whatever. In the vertical is either a logic machine, acid-fueled debate bro, or an eagle-jilted dramatist with little ground in between. There are people, like me, and I suppose a ton of us, who value reconsideration and empathy. I don't know if any of this is helpful or encouraging, but I hope that it is. I feel that everyone operated the way that you do, that there'd be a shitload more harmony, growth, and health in the online left. I hope you grow exponentially and become the touchstone voice in this sphere. This is a very nice email. But more importantly, let's tone in on that second thing there in the last section. I have to make this slightly smaller. I know it's going to affect the size of it on the broadcast. Okay, that's good. So, that last section there, because my eyes hurt. I'm going to do this. I'll do it like this. Dot, 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 dot. If everyone operated like Noah, there would be more. I'm going to use JDF Signifier's phrase here. Breaking bread. If everyone operated like Noah, there would be more harmony and breaking of bread and understanding amongst the online left. This is a very nice sentiment for a fan to give, but the problem is that there can't be. There never will be. I already laid out the reason why in comment 0. These two things go together. These two things go together, okay? These two things are directly opposed to each other diametrically. If everybody were to be like Noah, even by being snipers, where they will be sarcastic and make jokes and be irreverent, but at the same time try to address problems that they believe need to be solved, people would want to have more breaking of bread, which is exactly what JDF Signifier complained about in his video, Break Bread, where the entire point is people don't seem to listen to the opinions of the very same minorities that they claim they're speaking for. Which is what Professor Flowers was trying to center herself in being the person that would deliver said messaging. I forget the name of the creator, I'll probably remember some point in the middle of this, who made a video denouncing, somebody in the chat could look it up faster than I could, denouncing Professor Flowers because of her wanting to keep the highlight and the spotlight on herself. Even though she was victimized by Vaush by accusing her of being literally a Nazi, which is exactly what he was going for, which is the reason why he said it, Professor Flowers wanted to put herself forward to say, you won't victimize me, in fact, I'll do what you do. But eventually, it got to the point where she's just putting the attention on herself so that she stays in the news. So, what do you do when someone like Vaush does that to you? And you believe that the best way for you to beat him is by... I need to get a new goddamn chair. Is to do what he does and play at his game. The problem becomes that you add to discourse, and that you are creating problems for everybody else around you. And for yourself. You become a part of the noise. You become a part of the noise. You become a part of the problem that is leading to the constant talking past each other that creates the problem, which is discourse and the lack of it. People like Vaush are not going to let there be harmony, because if there is harmony, then there is camaraderie. If there is camaraderie, and this is going to be the more important question and the more important word here, there will be loyalty. Because for there to be camaraderie and loyalty is what creates the potential for principle. People like using the word principle, but don't really realize what a principle is. A principle is not an idea of ethical consumption that you use for a debate point. It is the very thing you live your life by. When someone accuses you of being a Nazi in a broadcast, so basically what happened with Vaush versus Non-Compete, where Vaush tries to accuse Noah Sampson of being related to Nazi-ass rhetoric, and Non-Compete completely noped the fuck out and rage quit the broadcast. Your ethics tell you, if you try shit like this, I'm just not going to engage with you. But the knee-jerk reaction to this is not going to be the best answer. When somebody accuses you of something like being a Nazi, you should be able to laugh them off and explain very succinctly the reasons why they're dumb. Because it's all about ego at that point. It's all about attention. They've accused you of being the worst thing possible. So your reaction is to rage quit and walk away? In the real world, this would be respected. It's like if somebody walks up to you and calls you a hard R. Or calls you a raccoon. Or calls you a kafir. Or calls you a heretic. Or calls you whatever word will immediately piss off a white person faster than saltine cracker. It's whatever pejorative, it's whatever slur, whatever slurification you can make. In a normal environment, down at the Waffle House, somebody walks up to me and says, "Hey you, come over here and change my plate." I'd be justified to cold cock him and say, "Sir, please don't call me that," and then go about my day. But on the internet, that's not how it works. The reason it doesn't work like that is because reverency is the entire goal. The refuge and audacity, which realistically is what this is, so I'll put that as a TLDR. When people live in the refuge of audacity, where they can consistently make problems of themselves and of others, to the point that these two things begin to face each other in a fucking argument. Like it's a fucking scene out of the manga for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. A person who lives in the refuge of audacity, like Vaush, I'm gonna keep using Ian as a fucking point until he stops doing it. When somebody like this accuses you of something that you're not, they're not saying it because they believe it. They're saying it because, unironically, it gets a reaction. It gets the people going. So, unfortunately, as long as they can be able to get the reaction, so that the laziest person who refuses to do the effort and refuses to look at the research, refuses to do the understanding research, and then get to the fundamental basis of what brought you from point 0 to point 1, as long as motherfuckers are lazy as shit, they will never, ever, ever allow for people to discuss things like human beings. They will always benefit more from causing chaos than from solving problems. They would rather center themselves in the middle of chaos and have people talking about their antics than allow other people to do anything else, especially if it's positive. Because, and this is actually part 2, so I'll put this as 1A, 1B. The reason why is because when you solve the problem, you can no longer use it to your negative or positive, I'll put negative pause, benefit. So, the more time removed from an L or W, the less of a talking point it can be. Which, just TLDR, what I'm going to label as the veto gamble. That one requires context for people who are not here from the channel. Also, if you're not a regular viewer of mine, say hi in the chat. I want to see how many people are there. So, this right here is the reason why things like this from Noah's fan is actually important. Alright? However, there are some people who are going to be wondering, what the fuck do you mean, Carl? What are you talking about when you say the veto's gamble? I'll show you what I mean when I'm talking about veto's gamble. Vito's gamble literally comes from Vito Guasqualti, a known content troll who has literally nothing better to do but to argue about how actually I do good things. I do positive things. I always try to fight for what's right. I always try to do things that's good. People just hate me because they ain't me. Please watch the screen. And if you're already in the chat and you've never watched said video, please, at any point in time in your leisure, please watch said video. It's a hoot. But to sum up Vito Guasqualti, for any person who has never had the misfortune to interact with him, Vito Guasqualti is a content troll who seeks to use content and headlines to put himself in the news so that he can get attention brought to him and make money off of the clout that comes from his stupidity. Because of Vito's tactic, it is what has led people to completely discount Netflix and cuties. Because in the same breath that Vito says, hey, I do good things, I do positive things, the only reason why you dislike me is because I am right and you are wrong, any amount of content, any amount of attention will actually tell you, no, he's dishonest. He's very dishonest. He's so dishonest to the point that any person who observes him can be able to understand this. You think that you're more important than you are, but you're not. So how do you get people to talk about you? Do something dumb. But then after you do that dumb thing, do a good thing. So, like I was saying earlier, I am in trouble for having a stupid fucking take about child pedophilia and about child pornography and all the other things that people are going to have as soft sport issues. So, I'm going to give money to charity. So, whenever anybody accuses me of something, I can just say, no, you're just mad because you dislike that I did a good thing. I did good stuff. I did good things. Perfect case example of this was, let me see if I can pull up the video, because I don't remember exactly which one it was. I'd have to go scrolling for a while throughout Dev's catalog. The surfs. Because if I had mine, I'd just be able to pull it up myself, but I can't. But, here it is. Cool. So, back when Lance of the Surfs did something really fucking brain-dead, dumb, and stupid, which was to essentially give $6,500 to Hamas, which then led it to being directly used to purchase missiles so they could try to challenge the Iron Dome. Lance ended up giving his money without doing his research. People like Dev and myself, we did our research, so we knew that not to give our money to fucking Hamas, but Lance did not. Lance wanted the clout that came with giving to charity, so that whenever he did something else stupid, it wouldn't reflect well on him. Notice, right here, perfect case example. In the same breath, and in the same time period, technically, because this is only removed by about 2 months. In the same time period in which Lance is trying and praying and hoping that he can be able to shit on Dev, 2 months later, he gives money to Hamas, and this blows up in his face. The same way it blew up in Vaush's face. I don't have the clip anymore because it was on the last account, but there was a clip from a political analyst who basically looked up in real time the money that was being featured for the, I forget the charity that was being donated to for Vaush, but they looked up the charity, directly looked up the fact that it was connected to terrorist organizations, and it was like, damn, he really did want a glass. But it's that. That's what I'm talking about when I say that. When I say the veto gamble, I'm talking about doing good things It is trying to do good things to cancel out bad publicity. These two things. Well, technically these three things, but it's these two things. These two things are the things that are diametrically opposed and cause the very issue that brings us here today. This is what's at the center of almost all internet drama. Someone tries to detract from the bad attention that they have, and someone who is highlighting the fact that they did something really fucking boneheadedly dumb is going to get clout from exposing how fucking stupid they were. So, in order to stop this from happening, so that people don't look at them as a positive role model that could eventually deplatform them in the future, just by nature of existing and being better, you need to be able to find a way to take that good credibility away from them and associate them with bad shit. Everybody understand? Everybody follow along? Alright, cool. I know it's a lot of talking, but I want to make sure I do this right because I'm not doing it again.
Just were able to have a laugh at the way I went about highlighting them. Vine boom sound. Vine boom sound. Vine boom sound. Vine boom. On the other hand, though,
Perfect case example of what exactly I was talking about. Let's look at those comments that just was by the screen.
critical of my video's argumentation or lack thereof. Some say that, not me though. I would never say something. I would never say that. I've linked all those in the description if you're sort of a creep that wants to watch all that stuff. The video's reception was, well, divisive might be the right word. On the one hand, you had a lot of people who understood where I was coming from, who empathized with my frustrations about these spaces, or just were able to have a laugh.
Slow it down.
You had a lot of people who or just were able to.
The video is sponsored by White on White Crime.
to have a laugh at
The editing is killing me. You press talent, Luigi.
the way I went about highlighting them.
Quirked up white boy with a little bit of content essays. Oh god, that's backwards. Quirked up white boy with a little bit of content essays it down bisexual style. Is he goated with the Vaush? Please stop it. Please, ladies and gentlemen, you do not need to take Vine memes and make them worse.
Vine boom sound. Vine boom sound. Vine boom sound. Vine boom. On the other hand, though, a lot of people didn't like the video. This dislike ranged from, hey man, normally like your videos, but this one was a miss. This wasn't it, Chief. Mr. Chief, this was not it. Mr. Chief, Halo 7, marriage. All the way to, this is the worst video essay of all time that should be wiped clean from the internet, along with your channel. The latter.
And let's go back. Gotta love that this is quickly going down. You don't need to remove these things. Unless you're going to just basically hide everything, don't blur out their names. Let the names go through. They left a public comment in a public place. Creators, I'm not gonna write this down, it's not a thing. If there is ever any person that comes to your channel and claims and says something, you do not have to blur out their names to stop them from being dogpiled. People should have the common sense to not do that. In some things, you might need to say it, but you don't need to say it here. You're defending yourself. And even if you want to be nice, you don't have to. You don't have to do this. Talking shit, getting hit exists at all stages of the platform. Moving on. Gotta love this quickly going down as one of the worst video essays in history of YouTube. It's not. There's worse.
This is the worst video essay of all time.
Wow, so you actually uploaded this piece of disingenuous shit. Probably the worst video essay I had the misfortune to watch. I actually know who sent this one.
Time that should be wiped clean from.
Delete the video, bro. Sweet Jesus. Only good faith option in front of you. I've seen this one myself, personally. This is generally the floating opinion that always goes out around whenever anybody has what could perceive to be as a bad take. Where, hey, delete your take. Delete your tweet. You can still... The time in which you could delete this tweet was immediately after you sent it. The next time you could be able to delete it is right fucking now. This happens a lot. And unfortunately, it's actually a fucking trap. Because you already made the video. If you delete the video, then people get to brag about silencing you. Don't do it.
The internet, along with your channel. The latter response was basically the takeaway from the streamers themselves.
I'm not joking when I say to all of you, with full sincerity, that this is, quite possibly, the worst takedown I've seen.
It's really disappointing how much of the online left can be convinced by such stupid arguments if they're said by somebody with a nice mustache and some bisexual lighting and the lo-fi chill music in the background.
Vaush,
Well, all of those things apply to both of themselves. That applies probably most of all to Xander Hall, more than it does to Vaush. But be that with his way.
at one point even offered me a cash reward of double the video's ad revenue to take it down.
If Noah Sampson...
Also, that right there, perfect case example of exactly what I was meaning. Vaush is doing this as a mafioso chest speeding thing. He will say so much as much in the rest of the video. But this is a trap. If you're going to make a video, I'm not gonna write this down either. If you're gonna make a video critiquing somebody, and somebody has negative opinions pushing back against it because it's gonna be conciliatory, if not oppositional in nature, if anybody ever tells you, take this down and I'll give you money, whatever comes from said deal is only going to make you look worse, because they will then control the narrative about what's being discussed. So it is better for you to make the video and then move on from the situation, like what was done here with me writing this about Vito Gestalt. It is better for you to lay out all the evidence so that any person who really wants to be informed can go watch it, than just allowing it not to be seen. If somebody's going to try to do shit on the level of monetizing you, you should at least make a response to it. But it's the question of, you know, no turd twice. How many responses can you give to somebody and to give to something? How many times can you bring it up and mention? This is the reason why it's the Vito Gamble, because he does this shit all the time. How many times can you bring something up in consideration to something being discussed before it becomes old hat? Once, twice, only as much as it is necessary so that people get the context? The third answer is usually the best. The entire idea behind No Turd Twice is, hey, we already talked about this once, we're not going to retread old water again. Sometimes you have to, in order to give out the context of, hey, They've been doing this before. They've done this before. In fact, here's all the times where they did it. Sometimes it becomes necessary.
Deletes the video and publicly retracts the information within, then he can screenshot the AdSense info within it, and I will give him money so that he doesn't lose a cent from deleting it. I'll double it.
So naturally, I took it down. I got the money, and then I put the video back up. I plan on doing that a few hundred more times. Vaush just keeps paying me. Unlimited money glitch. Motherload. Just kidding. That whole thing was a joke. I can't take money from the CIA. I still use TurboTax. It would be a mess. But okay, why are we here today, Noah? Why are we talking about your last video? Grow up. Move on. Well, I want to talk today about what I experienced in the aftermath of making it. I want to do this because after I released the video, frankly, some weird stuff happened, and some bad stuff happened. And I want to talk about that and connect the weird, bad stuff to the experiences of other people. I want to outline how this happens, what the backlash from debate streaming communities looks like, what's at stake for some of the people who experience it, and maybe what can be done about it. Eventually. Probably not today, but someday. So yeah, super vague, but I will get into it. Right after, we quickly take a moment of silence for all those lives lost during that one thing, and then we take a moment to thank the sponsor of today's video, Casetify.
So the next thing I'm about to skip is going to be all of his ad. We're not going to be missing anything of context. I'm not skipping over it because I don't want him to have credibility, as can clearly be seen by the fact the video is on the screen. I'm skipping over the ad. That's it.
I don't know. Okay, back to the video now. All right, so after all of the events that I went over, which was my video, the responses, the debate, and the other content.
Also, the context in which I was talking about. Solve a debate ball problem, going over Noah Samson's anti-debate bro video, Zan's legendary debunk of Noah Samson's legendary hit piece on him and Vaush, talking to Noah Samson is anti-debate bro video, solving the video SES problem, and Noah Samson re-uploaded his debate bro hit piece, the drama.
Jon Stewart, in a lot of ways,
Started seeing one comment pop up in different places on the web. The comment says that basically in my
This, by the way, is the reason why you do not recant your position. You can be able to apologize for it and say you went a little bit too hard, but do not delete your original takes and allow people to create a narrative where you somehow walked back or recanted what you said. You never let them do this. And the reason why is because when the information is no longer accessible or there, or when they are too lazy to do the work, they will use this as the excuse to say whatever they want. And you never want to give anybody that kind of power. Moving on.
my conversation with Vaush, I walked back my entire video, admitted to it being full of lies and misinformation, and should therefore delete the video. I received versions of this comment hundreds of times, maybe thousands at this point if we're counting tweets, from not only fans of these creators, but from the creators themselves. So is this what happened? Did I walk back my video in the debate? And at first, I wasn't sure, so I watched it back, only to discover that, no, this did not happen. In my conversation with Vaush, I conceded 3 points, and none of these points stand in the way of my video's main arguments. The driving issues behind my video, the reasons why I made it, were Vaush's treatment of Professor Flowers and Xanderhall's problematic language. The 3 points that I conceded in the debate had nothing to do with these. It has been a little while, so if your memory's a little hazy on it, I encourage you, go back and watch the debate. That is what happened. And yet, here we have countless people jumping into my comment sections to self-righteously proclaim something that is demonstrably false, and using this falsehood as a justification to force my hand into deleting a video. That seems a bit weird, right? Lest this come off as me saying that no, I did not get owned actually, as I slowly shrink into a corn cob. That's not true. I did get owned. Roughly 1 million people on the internet think I'm the worst video essayist of all time. And I'm fine with that. Honestly, I am. What I'm not a big fan of, though, is being bullied. And sometimes it's hard for me to tell when that's happening. And I have since realized that it did happen here. Now, here one might object, well, no, you went onto the debate stream and you were conciliatory. You didn't argue for your positions well, and you backtracked enough points that if people got the impression that you don't believe what you said in your video, can you really blame them? And initially, I actually agreed with this point. I was like, you know, yeah, I guess this is just kind of what happens when you go on debate streams. Especially if you go on unprepared and unseasoned in the art of debate, as I was and still am. I'm not coming back on, guys, so don't ask. I should have known better than to go on that stream. Ultimately, this might be my fault, or so I thought. When I actually took a step back, though, and thought about it, and then watched the debate a few more times, I realized that no, that's bullshit. People should not be allowed to lie about stuff just because I didn't go full debate lord in the debate realm. That should not be standard procedure. I entered that conversation attempting to seek understanding. I felt bad, frankly, after seeing how poorly my video was received.
Like, what the fuck is that?
And how if my goal was to put a stop to the bad behavior I tried to call out, and the video was a failure. I went on wanting to try to, like, I don't know, figure out what went wrong, I guess. And when this audience of people saw me do that, what they saw was weakness, and they took that weakness as a sign to go on the attack. And that's what they did. They took whatever they could to discredit me. And now, because of this, they feel justified, vindicated even, in bullying me into silence. Cancel culture, the woke Twitter mob strikes again.
My point exactly. However, this brings us to part 2. When someone tries to use a situation to control a narrative, ensure every bit of evidence is included and cannot be ignored. The number one thing when it comes to debate host space, and I'm going to make sure to use that exact phrase he just said.
My video was received.
Like, what the fuck is that?
And how if my goal was to put a stop to the bad behavior I tried to call out, and the video was a failure. I went on wanting to try to, like, frankly, after seeing how poorly my video was received,
Like what?
lie about stuff just because I didn't go full debate. I thought. When I actually took a step back though and thought about it and then watched the debate a few more times, I realized that no, that's bullshit. People should not be allowed to lie about stuff just because I didn't go.
Jay says debate lord, debate bro,
Full debate lord in the debate round.
debate lord. If someone tries to use a situation to control a narrative about you, you need to ensure that every single bit of evidence that you have is included and cannot be ignored, because people should not be able to lie because you didn't go to full debate lord. This is why people like JDF Signifier do not do live stream debates. They do discussions. They have city town halls where they talk to other people amongst shit, which is something that I've directly fucking stated happened in the case of Clone Vaush. Come on, Jay, pick up the goddamn phone. You didn't pick up the first 2 times. Also, I can't hear you. You're back from that was a long shit, bro.
What?
I was talking to chat. You didn't pick up the first 2 times.
I know. I gotta fix these damn notifications.
Uh-huh. We're halfway. Well, actually, we're kind of halfway in the middle. Kind of. And by halfway in the middle, I mean at 7:33 of a near 30-minute video.
Oh.
Everybody in chat, say hi to Jay.
Hello.
Let me fill in the screen. This actually might be easier if I choose to do it through OBS. There we are. Oh, my back, my front, my sides, my soul. Everything except my prostrate. Where was I? Oh, yes. So, when you go into a debate sphere, and when you're dealing with people who do not go into the debate sphere, the most common thing that we will see, and we have seen, is what we've seen from JDF Signifier. Because this is his main complaint. And, I remember, I was going to pull up said thing, hold on. Because I posted it in our DMs. Give me a second. I gotta scroll for a bit and find it. Where is it? God damn it, there's nothing but fucking Will Smith memes! Oh my god.
Damn you, Will Smith.
I blame you, not Will Smith. Actually, no. I blame Will Smith. Everybody blames Will Smith. Oh, shit. Alright, picture. Alright, so. Clone Vaush! Avert your eyes, children. Don't let your kids watch it! So, JF Signifier does not do debates. We have listened to his words why. We've listened to his words why, because, unfortunately, the person he is in this picture with, Clone Vaush, whose name is not going to get mentioned here, the reason why is because people like Clone Vaush are the reason why it is necessary to document shit. This is a social media cockroach. Not JDF Signifier, the other one. And the reason why is because of, and I will make sure to link this one in the chat, is because of information like Adis. Anybody who wants to go look at it, you can look at that video. I'll put it on the screen real quick.
So, what is the flip?
Destiny response to Twitter leftists, white women, debate bros, and video essayists. I will make sure to scroll through this because I don't remember the timestamp that I made for this. Might take me a second to go find it.
Like, say you're coding like Python forms, like, hey, my
Right here.
okay, all right. If this guy wants to chat, let me know, but I have to focus on it. Destiny's community. Oh, this Queen Marcy person is a subhuman, mentally ill, deranged lunatic. This person needs to be locked in an institution, be thrown away, preferably in a straitjacket, or not. Destiny's always getting other people bullying harassment with their guy. Post shit like this about smaller creator. Oh, he's a smaller creator. Smaller creator. Using a copy of my fucking website. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking losers. But why did I post the context? Oh, she even did post context. What a fucking moron. Bro, talk shit, get hit. That's the law of the internet. I'm here. I am here to enforce those laws. Okay? Talk shit, get hit. Somebody's on the internet and somebody says, wow, that guy called that other dude some really bad words, okay? He said homophobic, racist, anti-Semitic, anti-indigenous, I don't know, whatever horrible things to that person. Your first response should not be, wow, that person is horrible. Your first response should be, well, what'd the other guy do? That should be the first response, okay? You know what? Sometimes people need to be bullied a little bit, all right? Sometimes you need a little bit of bullying out here. This is why Shark won't talk to you.
I would say Destiny.
He
I think if people are like, he's not
to
Barbie.
a
Destiny is like,
equally rich kid because he doesn't have the same experience.
Are you watching your video in the background, Jay?
I'm editing in the background.
Okay.
the debate bro. That's his entire like.
Every single
Chat might not be able to hear the video over it.
Well, I'm not gonna like. As soon as you play the video, I'm gonna stop.
Okay.
Debate bro. That's his entire like. I don't want to say shit.
Every single person that calls me a debate bro is a debate bro, by the way. I don't know if you guys realize how the projection game works, but I have had plenty of conversations with people from across all walks of life. Some that agree with me, some that disagree with me.
I'm very
Oh, shit.
curious.
It's not even playing in the right window. Guys, I am a horrible streamer. I am a horrible streamer!
So, what is the flip?
There we are.
I am here to win. Your first response should not be, wow, that person is horrible. You know what? This is why Shark won't talk to you.
Like, I don't want to say shit.
Every single person that calls me a debate bro is a debate bro, by the way. I don't know if you guys realize how the projection game works, but I have had plenty of conversations with people from across all walks of life. Some that agree with me, some that disagree with me, and I will match your energy. If you come on and you act like a fucking
Is it
Neanderthal,
playing?
like a
Yes.
Why don't I hear this shit?
I don't know. Blame it on your computer. You should be able to hear it. You should be able to hear it through my OBS. I don't know why you can't.
Do you have it set up
Yeah.
like correctly?
I am literally streaming it to you right the fuck now.
But that is, I can't hear it. That's the thing.
I have to work on the fly because something wrong with Jay's computer. Are you on your phone?
Yep.
See, I don't want to do the watch together because I'm just bringing this up for the context. But then again, Jay might need to hear it still anyways.
So, what is the flip side? Not reality? I want.
That's adding extra work for myself. Okay, you got the link?
Hang on.
Ugh. The phone is most likely have audio split up, so she'd have to turn off. She'd have to turn all of her sound off. That might
What?
actually. Yeah, it's a quirk.
No, we have not had this problem before.
I don't fucking know, Jay. I'm just grasping at straws. Silly straws. Sour straws. I want candy, guys. I want candy. I have to do all this extra work so Jay can get her sweet, sweet context. Oh shit.
You called me, nigga.
I know I called you! I called you twice! If you were here, we gotta solve these problems, man!
Oh, by the way, I showed you those Gabriel's Inferno movies, right?
I
Or
think.
haven't I?
I'm gonna go say no. You haven't.
Yeah, I think it was someone else I showed those movies to.
Am I going to be angry at these films?
Maybe because some of them are boring. like really boring. Like the second one is, or was it the third one? Either the second one or the third one was really slow.
Is this like a comedy film?
No, it isn't. I mean, you can't get comedy from it.
Okay.
The fuck is wrong with my right ear? Because I got snot stuck in my right ear. The fuck?
How did you get snot in your right ear?
I mean, it's probably just like some kind of like phlegm buildup. I don't know how that works.
Okay. I'm still waiting on you.
Because I can't log into the actual Discord app on my PC because of the internet situation.
Uh-huh.
So I have to go through the desktop or like the browser. I had to sign in through the browser and then get the link and whatever.
Okay.
It's a whole fucking thing.
Yes, Jay needs to know everything. Jay didn't have a VPN, so they cut her internet off. It's unfortunate.
But now I have a VPN, and the VPN just so happens to hack into the Xfinity. So I have some internet, but it's just not good.
When are you gonna get a new provider, Jay?
Probably the end of the month. My dad promised he'd get some.
Okay.
When he gets his check, you better not expect me to pay for it.
What do you mean, wait, what, Moon? What's confusing? They can do that? Yes. When your ISP detects, because they watch your connection, when they detect that you're doing something and they decide they care about the legality of what you're doing, they will cut your internet. They will first send you a warning message and then they will cut your internet off. And they will cite it as piracy, which is the reason why VPNs exist.
That's bullshit, though, because they didn't do that to my mother when we did that at her house.
I don't know, Jay. It depends on the person who owns the copyright in question. I still believe I should not have gotten a message for something that I fucking purchased from the Blizzard store, but they sent me one over my fucking purchase of Diablo 2, which should have been my sign! That should have been my sign not to play the game again!
Okay, hang on a second. Well, the browser isn't working, so I just can't get fuck. Oh, okay. Send me the link on Twitter right quick. Because it just, I forgot I didn't save the password on Brave, so.
Okay.
I mean, so many new movies have come out that I want to check out. I'm going to see, I said this on Twitter, but I think I'm going to see if I can combine Our Boys with the EFAT Boys so we can watch 365 Days to part 2.
What, we're not gonna
I'm
watch
going to see if we can make a whole day of it, watch the first one.
Okay.
And then we'll watch the second one. Oh. It's going to be glorious, glorious. All those awkward boners over Discord.
I want you to look at my face. I want you to look at my face, okay? What you take me for? A common whore?
Yes. A chocolate whore.
I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. That's too mean. You're lucky I'm nice.
You remind me of one of those like Cadbury bunnies in like a tight muscle shirt with boobs.
Do I look like I have a yellow fucking ribbon across my neck? Only be eaten by white women in church skirts on Easter?
I mean, maybe. Oh. Okay, here we go. I'm in.
She's finally in, guys. She's in, boys. She's in. Okay.
The second is if you're trying to get something done. Like say you're coding like I'm actually gonna die. Why would you fucking sit in the bush? What a fucking loser. Fuck me. Okay, we're done talking. I have to focus on my game. The second is that like if you're trying to do something in some language, C#, whatever, go onto like the other forum, like a Python forum, is like, hey, my friend says that you can't actually do this in Python, is he right? And then my friend says that this is way better in C+ or whatever, or C# or whatever, like do this, and then like everybody will be posting like, no, he's wrong, do it this way, blah, 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 blah. Okay, alright. If this guy wants to chat, let me know, but Destiny's community. Oh, this Queen Marcy person is a subhuman, mentally ill, deranged lunatic.
It does echo like a bitch, and I don't think there's anything we can do about the echo. This is the only way that Jay can be able to hear it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. Let's see if I can turn it down a little bit.
Locked in an institution with the key thrown away, preferably in a straitjacket, or not. Destiny's community is always accusing other people of bullying, harassment. Their guy posts shit like this, a smaller creator. Oh, he's a smaller creator! Using a copy of my fucking website. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking losers. But why not post the context? Oh, she even did post context. What a fucking moron. Bro, talk shit, get hit. That's the law of the internet. I'm here. I'm here to enforce those laws, okay? Talk shit, get
I remember that.
Somebody's on the internet and somebody says, wow, that guy called that other dude some really bad words, okay? He said homophobic, racist, anti-Semitic, anti-indigenous, I don't know, whatever horrible things to that person. Your first response should not be, wow, that person's horrible. Your first response should be, well, what did the other guy do? That should be the first response, okay? You know what? Sometimes people need to be bullied a little bit, all right? Sometimes we need a little bit of bullying out here. This is why Shark won't talk to you.
I would say Destiny. I think if people are like, he's not private, Destiny is like the debate bro. That's his entire life. I don't say shit. But
Every single person that calls me a debate bro is a debate bro, by the way. I don't know if you guys realize how the projection game works, but I've had plenty of conversations with people from across all walks of life. Some that agree with me, some that disagree with me, and I will match your energy. If you come on and you act like a fucking Neanderthal, a fucking ape, like a fucking pig that wants to roll around in the mud, then goddamn it, we'll do it. I love it. I'll do it. As much as you want, I'll do it. I love it. But you want to have a reasonable conversation? I don't care how much we disagree. I can have a reasonable conversation with anybody. All these people that predict, oh, Destiny, he's a debate bro. He's just a debate bro. That's because you're a fucking coward. Just say, I don't want to talk to Destiny, because if I do, he will push my shit in. Because I am a fucking idiot. Just say it. Just say that. I'm an idiot. I know that I can't talk to that dude, because if I do, I will look like I was held back in second grade for special ed students. That's how fucked I am right now in this conversation. Just say that, and then we're chill. Like, okay, cool. No harm, no foul. But they just dismiss everything. Oh, you're a debate bro? Like, it's funny because I give so much advice for having conversations to not be a debate bro. Like, don't call out logical fallacies in conversation. Don't say shit like that. It's cringe. I even make fun of people that do it. Don't say shit like, oh, you've engaged in the slippery. Oh, that's an ad hominem. Oh, that's false. I don't do that shit all the time. Don't invoke philosophy in a conversation. If somebody's saying some shit, be like, oh, well, you know, I think at the end of the day, I don't know if this is like going to create the world we want. Say that. Don't say, well, from a utilitarian framework, I don't believe calculus justifies this sort of normative behavior. Right? Don't say that shit. Don't use philosophy in debates. Right? Try to be understanding of your opponent. Try to
Why do Twitch streamers talk so goddamn fast? And for one thing, like, how much of their shit what the hell are you saying this fast?
I forgot you don't have the brain. It's a skill, and we have to develop it because people have short attention spans. Well, no, that's actually not. That's half true. People like to cut things out for context, and the problem is that when we speak slow enough, somebody can be able to take our words apart and stitch them together in editing and make us sound like we're saying something that we didn't. Before I took up my method of speaking, people did that to me 4 different times. And it was only after I started producing, what did you call it? My Zipcoon language?
Yeah.
Only after creating the words that make up the dialogue of Carl did it fucking stop. Because people had to come and say, wait, what is he saying? And then they went and found the context, and it's like, oh, wait, that makes perfect sense. You're just fucking stupid. That's most or less the context. Anybody who wants to see the rest of that, they can see that. Now, all that is necessary to lay out here, bring us back to the fucking file. All of that is necessary here for number 2, because nobody should be allowed to lie about you just because other people are lazy. That's unacceptable. Nobody should be allowed to do it. No, not, I can't even say that word, Moon. I can't even say that word. No, not Trash Panda language. Just me using words the way that I use words. My Carlisms. Let's call it that. My Carlisms. I can't even remember what I was saying. God damn it, Moon. Nobody should be allowed to lie about you. And nobody, well, technically, Destiny doesn't speak like Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro talks like Ben Shapiro. Destiny talks like Destiny. Everybody else is copying Destiny. Or they're relating to the person who they best know is popular for doing it. For now, it's still Destiny. If somebody was able to overtake Destiny, they would relate it to that. I don't know. Who would be the number 2 on Twitter for politics? Or on Twitch for politics? Dylan Burns, I'm not even sure anymore. Certainly not Vaush. People should not be able to lie about something because someone doesn't go full debate lord. But somebody should not also be allowed to lie about something because there's not enough people talking about the context behind the problem. Nobody should be allowed to get away with telling a lie because someone is too uninterested in learning the truth. I wouldn't even say that political conversations should necessarily be about, although they probably should, have some basis in finding out the truth. Because what you want to do is you want to find what you consider to be the cause of the problem. Remember? It's that fucking flowchart that I talked about earlier, guys. Figure out, the problem has occurred, define the problem, talk about the problem, figure out the problem, discuss what the problem is, and in that flowchart, where either you're guilty of the thing, and so you try to deflect, or you are going to take responsibility for the thing, and you try to solve it. After establishing the problem, address how you're going to fix it, commit, follow through. Because somebody doesn't want to go through those first few steps of the issue, and they don't want to research shit. I'll have to type this in here too. Nobody should be allowed to lie, period. Because in the matter of drama, context equals bloat. And something that is complex becomes boring. It's much easier to write it off in your head and say, no, that's not what's true, this is what's true. Because if the simple thing is based on a lie, it doesn't matter whether or not it's true or not. People have attached themselves to it. The only way to discount that would be to add the context, which then makes it complex, and through it being complex, people will be like, okay, so what's the context? But I don't understand it. In fact, I have a fucking video on my channel literally named this. Hold on. Hello. I'm Carl. Be quiet, past Carl. God damn it, I have to go look for it manually. Where's that screenshot? Here it is. Because I just need a thumbnail to make this point. Thank you, Pass Carl. Alright, so. Picture on screen. I need to make the picture even bigger. I'm assuming chat can see that, but I'm just going to make it bigger so that people can be able to see it in the future. Alright. When you have something that is complex, so literally memes in this case. Let's take leftist memes. When the meme requires real-world information to understand the context. So raise your hand if you're a fan of George Alexopoulos. God damn it, I hate him and his goddamn Greek goddamn name. It's so hard to pronounce. So if anybody here is a fan of George and actually follows G Prime 45 and the political cartoons that he's been doing for like a year and a half now, they are usually based in real-world things that have happened. So here it is. I neglected to follow him, my lord. So, all of these things here. All of these old comics that he's done. Just making sure to scroll through them so people can be able to see the context for them. And there's plenty more, because this is from the thread that he has pinned on his profile, so I'll put that in chat for everybody as well. George is not the porn guy. You're thinking of Shadbase.
Oh.
George is not the porn guy. George does not draw porn yet. Oh, but when you are looking at a situation and people are making political comics about the situation, if people only ever see the context of the meme and they don't understand the context behind it. So let's take Kyle Rittenhouse, for example. All the memes that have been made about Bender, about being a bottom twink and being gay, and potentially also having a fling with, like, the judge or something, or somebody else involved with the DA's office. If all you see is those memes, and you didn't know that the joke actually is that Bender is a bottom, Fluffer boy, if all you had was that context, you'd be like, okay, so I don't understand this. I'm clearly missing a piece of information. You should be doing porn. That's the meme. Give him a couple years, guys. But, if you're missing the context for something like that, you need to get the context in order to understand it. Otherwise, you're looking at a political meme and you don't understand the background because you didn't witness the thing happen. Political debates are very much like that too. Especially since the majority of them are based on something that happened in the headlines, in the news. You need to be able to give the context for people. But also, the problem is that, and here's the one that should be very easy for people to understand. In fact, can I just find it if I was just look it up and I look up Longman Bad? Please don't tell me that they're that stupid. Yeah. Yeah. It is. That's unfortunate. Alright. I'll go to this one from fucking 2019. So, when somebody says something like, hey, I love it when somebody cites someone like Mahler for proof about a video, go watch this 45-hour video explaining why I think the movie is bad and why everybody should know, and then say things like the rule of thumb is that a review for the film should be shorter than the film itself. Whether they know the context behind what Mahler does or not, whether they watch EFAP or not, whether they've actually seen critiques be feature length because they want to spend time on it, they want to hit the subject matter, they don't want to feel that anything's being left out or being ignored, no matter what context it is. People prefer to do this because it helps people fill in the blanks. Even in this video from Noah, he's putting in memes and jokes, and he is referring the very examples that go into the context. So, when Noah says things like, ooh, should I go faster? Here, there.
When he says, like, go to Castify.com for 50% off.
Yeah. That's funny. That is funny. Okay, so when Noah says things like, here is the people responsible for what I'm saying, what's the context, Carl? It's right there on screen. Are you fucking blind? When people would say,
yeah, teach your kids how to treat brown people differently. Right out the womb. Why the fuck not?
What?
I'm laughing at your fucking background noise.
Oh, you can pick it out. So I switched to my my headset, and I thought it would be like harder to hear.
No.
Looks like. Yeah, see, I'm editing right now, kids. While he's talking, I've been doing like a pretty good job of doing it while you were talking. Turns out I wasn't.
Remember, everybody, behind every single joke in Joey Lumbo's video, there's Carl molding the background because he lost his train of thought. But honestly, it's really not that funny. It's quite drastic. Oh, fuck. So, when people are like, hey, Carl, what the fuck is he talking about? There's the context. When I say things like the veto gamble of doing good things to try and cancel out your shit poor publicity, when you say, Carl, what's the context? It's right there. For every single situation, there is a video that will probably give you the basic information you need, if not a deep dive of that information. If you want to go further than that, you'd have to go to people like The Right Opinion, or Turkey Tom, or Bigby, formerly Zapty, or Tzapty, which is actually Turkey Tom, or fucking Nicholas Diorio, if he's done being a fucking dumbass. Or pretty much like any other fucking person off the top of my head that takes place in the commentary community. I don't know if Pyrocynical even does commentary anymore. Maybe he does. He probably might make more money if he keeps doing female cosplays. For any time where context is necessary, for you to understand the background, for what creates the situation of a problem, there's usually going to be somebody doing that. In fact, EFAP's doing it right now at Hassan Piker. There's going to be people who are going to give you the context for the problem. Nobody should be allowed to tell a lie about you because somebody on the internet decided, yes, see, I have a lot of people on my account that follow me, so because I, Cosmo, want to lie about people, I'm going to use my 259,000 followers to say, hey, long man bad. And because we don't like Mahler, we're gonna just go off of that and that alone. That's all I gotta say. That's all I need to say. That's all I should ever do. That's brain dead. It's brain dead. Marcus should know better than this, and Cosmonaut Marcus is never going to change it because that's unfortunately his brand. Cosmonaut Variety Hour will remain as it always has been.
Sponsored by
Because, hey, when you have 1.28 million subscribers, they're watching you because that's the way you tell jokes, not because your ideas and your opinions were super fucking based. For whatever opinion. Alright, I think I got my fucking point out now. You know, you did well without being distracted. Again, I blame you. So, that leaves us with the Vaush effect. And I don't even think I want to put something to the title of the Vaush effect, because it's not even a Vaush problem. It's been like this before Vaush was ever a person. What would you fucking call it? The need for people to use clout and credibility to distract from their negative qualities of personality.
Insecurity?
That's a good one.
One thing that's been brought up a few times is the question between criticism and harassment. Where does warranted punishment for having a bad take turn into abuse? I think making this distinction at times can be difficult, but I think...
When does critique and criticism turn into abuse? When the person uses their audience to try to deplatform you. I would say that's a pretty fair...
Oh, I thought we were watching this video. We're going to watch later. Or watch together.
No, you're doing it right the fuck now!
Wait, what?
I'm doing two things at once, lady. Keep up. Hold on.
Hold
on!
I'm looking at Destiny response to Twitter leftists.
Hold on. It's in the other fucking window. I have multiple windows open at the same time.
Oh, God.
I will match your energy. Come on, and you act like it.
I'm thinking this is the main video we're watching.
No. That was context, and you couldn't hear it, so you were missing the context.
Well, now I can hear the thing that you were giving context to.
Oh my god!
I bet if I was at your house and I checked your OBS, I would see that it's fucked up, and there's a reason I can't hear shit.
I'll just ignore that.
I just feel like you might have missed something, that's all.
Maybe. Where am I?
This is not a drama video. People who actually
8:35.
make drama videos.
8:35.
Is this guy who used to work with JonTron?
No. I don't think so. Did Noah Sampson ever work with JonTron?
I don't know, he looks like one of those motherfuckers.
Oh, you think he looks like Aaron Hansen? Only in the hair.
Yeah. Okay.
Aaron Hansen has a full beard, not a handlebar mustache.
That's a Mario must. That's not a handlebar. It's a Mario.
I think making this distinction at times can be difficult, but I think in the case of larger streamers like Vaush, there are factors about their medium which can elevate standard criticism into harassment territory quicker and more easily than creators in other mediums. It can also sustain this harassment for longer than it might elsewhere. And this is really more of a theory derived from what I've seen these creators say and my own experiences. But like, okay, you have a few thousand people watching you, giving you positive feedback, and that feedback is reciprocated. The chat's like, oh man, they're doing you dirty, man. It's super fucked up what they're doing to you, dude. Oh, they're really bad. And sometimes the streamer's like, you know what? Yeah, they are fucked up, dude. Fuck these guys. I hate them. Spit on them. And the chat's like, yeah, yeah. A lot of times the chat wants blood. This is something that has been acknowledged within the community. Now, I'm really not trying to...
I wouldn't use the word community, because there are no communities.
This process has a lot of parts.
There's no more communities anymore. It can't be.
Community subreddits, the forums, the hours and hours and hours, streams, the comments.
How are you still getting an echo? Already paused the video.
Rewarded sweet of likes and faves and retweets and posts. And all of it coalesces into one single.
Are you watching this on your phone?
I'm on my computer.
I can hear you listening to it in the background. It was distracting me.
How's this microphone picking up all this shit? It's a small microphone.
I don't fucking know. Shit, get to it.
I wasn't actually asking. I was expressing my frustration.
You sure not surprised? You should probably get 2 more of those microphones, how good they are.
True.
Yes, true. But,
Creators.
I forgot what I was trying to say, because he's still talking.
Did you pause it on your side?
I did!
What?
Exactly! That's why I'm confused!
What the fuck? See, the connection must have, like, dropped out or something, and I have to refresh, because it'll do that. My internet setup will do that.
What do you think? I was so fucking confused. I pressed the pause button. It's like, it's still talking?
I thought you just heard me listening to it. I thought that was the only problem.
No! You have a ghost in your computer. We are to watch together. That's why it's confusing.
Look, it's not my fault. You know my internet situation right now.
I know.
I'm very unfortunate and poor.
What do you mean we're both poor? Oh. Alright. I forgot what I was going to say, so we have to watch this last section over again.
To point the finger of blame in any one direction here. Fucked up what they're doing to you, dude. Oh, they're really bad. And sometimes the streamer's like, you know what? Yeah, they are fucked up, dude. Fuck these guys. I hate them. Spit on them. And the chat's like, yeah, yeah. A lot of times the chat wants blood. This is something that has been acknowledged within the community. Now, I'm really not trying to...
Alright. So, I'm not going to write this one down. This is important to reference. There is no such thing as a community. Not anymore. And the reason why I say...
Not on the internet.
Not on the internet. There cannot be a such thing called a community on the internet, because these are not communities. A community requires you to have, like I said earlier, loyalty and decency. You need to be able to respect each other and not go to the point that you're going to try to destroy someone's life over something like a joke.
Yeah, and organization.
Or affiliation. You have to be not willing to attack somebody over the fact that they might be friends with someone that you don't like in order for a community to exist. Instead, these online communities, and I'm air quoting that, are more like physical empty spaces. They're physical empty spaces that can be graffitied on. A person occupies said space, they spray paint their name all over it, and they say, hey, this is the Noah Samson corner. We talk about Noah Samson over here. And then you have the Vaush corner, and you have the J. Longwoon corner, you have the Mahler corner, the EFAP corner, the Hippy Dippy Championship corner, the Twitch corner, although it's more like the dark corner of fucking, library or cafeteria, and there's a corner wall that's cut off from vision from all the cameras, where people just sucking dick. That's what the internet's like. You have all of these different rooms that occupy all of these different ideas and topics. And when people on the internet talk in these spaces, they will control their opinions only so much, though, that the public does not see. My keyboard is dirty. I gotta pull out the compressed air. They will occupy these spaces and only control their opinions so much as to keep the public from seeing what they're talking about. So, consider online groups to be the principal or the hall monitor, or people acting like the fucking hall monitor. Take I Show Speed and Jake Lucky, the literal lapdog of Riot Games, as a perfect example. You're talking about something in your space. Somebody hears you talk about that thing in your space. So, they take what you said, they pull out all the negative shit, and then they run and go tell it everywhere on the internet, leaving out that precious, precious context. They then come after you, and then destroy your platform, not because of how you behave on a regular day basis, but how you supposedly behaved on your worst day, or how you behaved in a scenario where you were being explicitly scrutinized, regardless of what was happening to you. The reason why, and the issues that stem to, I fold this wrong, and the issues that stem to what is responsible for that interaction is that in these online communities, nobody takes accountability. How can you? You're part of a mob. I didn't do it. We did it. So when you have an anonymity at its all-time high, and then you pair that with the ego of wanting to attack a group over there, you are able to push responsibility off of yourself and on to someone else. So, when Clone Vaush tries to attack someone like me, he will try to only put in the context, which were based on lies, to justify doing it. I see this happen. What should I do? Not what did I do, because we all already know what I did, but what should I do? Should I bash his head in with a wrench? No. Why would I put actions in the real world to words on the internet? Should I hack his computer and post it with child porn? No. As funny as that would be a criminal activity. And is a disproportionate action. Should I talk shit back? I can. Words match words. I'm gonna match the energy that he said, to quote directly fucking from Destiny. You matching the energy of what you did, and now we're rolling around in the fucking mud. But there's the downside of that. We're rolling around in the fucking mud. I'm debasing myself to defend myself against someone else. Well, let's take any of the examples of random internet users that try to attack Jay, and Jay having to remind them, hey, I'm a woman with large tits. Would you personally... You know this is how this fucking happens. Would you attack these people outside of what would be easy for a dunk? Or would you decide to look up their family history and be like, and that's why your father died of cancer, Bridget? I'm asking you, that's not rhetorical.
Oh. And you have to repeat that. It says something about my tits, and then after that I was just like,
So, if somebody were to attack you on the internet, as they usually do, like every other week, maybe like twice on Sunday, would you personally attack them past their looks, things that are easy for you to access? Or would you decide to go a bit deeper and attack them in a much more personal way? And then turn around and throw your hands and say, hey, what do you mean? They were asking for it.
I mean, I don't know. Like, how deep are we talking about? Like, doxing or some shit?
No. So, they insult your appearance. And so what would you do back?
I mean, I usually just insult their appearance, or, Like some arbitrary shit, like maybe their bio.
Now, would you stop there, or would you keep going if they were to keep going?
Sometimes I keep going, but like it's not like it's just like it's just more arbitrary shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking with them and like how you kind of like argue with a child.
Now, if they were to say something explicitly personal to you, I'm not even using any examples, just think of something that you would consider to be across the line. How far would you be willing to go in retribution for that thing? Or would you at all? That's also a good one.
I wouldn't go far at all. Like it's just,
Okay.
this surface level shit.
And that's like the basis for that, right? So, from Destiny's words, you shouldn't and would not really need, you should not feel pressured to have to talk shit and get hit. However, if everybody's operating on the exact same basis, if somebody attacks me and they accuse me of being a rapist, and I look into who they are, and I look up the fact that, hey, this person is actually a registered sex offender, if I just hit them with a screenshot, because this is what we did when Rosenbaum got when he lost his round of Search and Destroy, when Joseph Rosenbaum's entire track record went out, and then people screenshot the fact that, hey, he doesn't actually have a criminal sex offender record, and it's like, yeah, it's only for life. We wouldn't need to keep him on the registry if he's not alive. That is a great takedown, right? So, David Levitt, when he was mauling about Target Toray and the fact that he wasn't getting a display toothbrush for the price of a penny, when I went through his account history and I pulled up all of the times that he had been annoying companies. I think I can pull it up here physically. I'm not actually sure, though. David Levitt. What was one of the ones that he harassed? I think it was Dairy Queen. First, I need to make sure I spelled his name correctly. There we go. He changed his @ from David Levitt to David_Levitt. Sorry, buddy. You're gonna have to do a little bit better than that to hide from me. Here we go. So, when that shit happened, and what was that? Was that 2018, 2017? Do you remember exactly when Target Toray happened? I swear it was like 2018, 2019. But, when he got viral for that, one of the first things I did when researching for my shit was I just decided to look up at how many other restaurants he did this at. And, as you can clearly see here, he has a history of doing this. And this is over shit like a buy one, get one free birthday coupon for fucking medium blizzards. The amount and the level of what I'm willing to go towards is going to be equal in energy, but also equal in responsibility to what another person's doing. All right? So if I were to talk to David Levitt and be like, hey, bro, why did you harass Target Toray? No. I'm going to go deeper than that. I'm going to be like, hey, bro, are you so fucking poor with all your fucking money that you're not just going to try and buy a toothbrush for a penny, but you're going to try and fucking harass a employee and Dairy Queen over some fucking medium blizzards that your ass can fucking afford? Are you so fucking frugal that you just cannot be able to buy this? Which is really bad. When you consider the fact that underneath this tweet, he has a tweet that says, I remember growing up how I wanted to be famous a famous astronaut or doctor, and now I just want the people at Dairy Queen not to recognize me? This was sent in July 17th, 2014. The one that he's trying to be a fucking male Karen about is from August 15th, 2015. Barely a year apart. Barely a year apart, Jay. Anyways, we get the point. Do we not? Yes? We do so? Wonderful. I can cite that. So, number 3. You don't get to cry bully when you're guilty of the same shit you're accusing someone of. You also don't get to other side, or let's just use whataboutism. You don't get to cry bully to people when you're guilty of the same shit that you're accusing someone of. And you don't get to play whataboutism and leverage your clout to save yourself. Period. It should never be allowed and it should never happen. This is what I'm going to say that the Vaush effect really is. This is probably the biggest issue with Vaush's drama. He does something stupid, and then to distract from the last stupid thing that went poorly from him, he does something else dumb. And then when he's accused of the thing that he's doing to someone else, he says, actually, they did something way worse than what I did. And so, even though I'm still wrong, I'm going to attack them and use a threat narrative to protect myself. So, let's TLDR that.
Ah.
There you go. You cannot weaponize a threat narrative to save yourself. Go directly to jail. Do not collect $200,000 paychecks to $200,000 paychecks.
In the case of larger streamers like Vaush, there are factors about their medium which can elevate standard criticism into harassment territory quicker and more easily than creators in other mediums. It can also sustain this harassment for longer than it might elsewhere. And this is really more of a theory derived from what I've seen these creators say and my own experiences. But like, okay, you have a few thousand people watching you, giving you positive feedback, and that feedback is reciprocated. The chat's like, oh man, they're doing you dirty, man. It's super fucked up what they're doing to you, dude. Oh, they're really bad. And sometimes the streamer's like, you know what? Yeah, they are fucked up, dude. Fuck these guys. I hate them. Spit on them. And the chat's like, yeah.
I know it requires a connection, you bitch. Come on.
Is it not working? Oh, wait. Hold
Hang on. I just had to refresh my page so I could get back to where you started playing.
No, I think I was playing in the wrong window. No, I was playing in the wrong window.
Alright, I refreshed.
up, dude. Fuck these guys. I hate them. Spit on them. And the chat's like, yeah, yeah. A lot of times the chat wants blood. This is something that has been acknowledged within the community. Now, I'm really not trying to point the finger of blame in any one direction here. This process has a lot of moving parts. You have the creators themselves, their orbiters, the communities, the subreddits, the forums, the hours and hours and hours of streams, the comment sections, where the spiciest, most sycophantic takes are rewarded with the sweet, sweet dopamine of likes and faves and retweets and reposts. And all of it coalesces into one single force field that incentivizes drama farming and misrepresentation. Maybe we could term this the Vaush effect or something, because I think a lot of times criticisms against him are actually criticisms of this effect. But this energy bounces back and forth between fandom and creator until narratives are formed. And then those narratives are used as justification for all kinds of bullying, harassment, and coercion against perceived adversaries. And given the distance and speed at which these narratives can travel, a lot of times there's enough space between the actual harassment going on and the creators that it's really difficult to hold people accountable. But what's worse is that sometimes you get creators directly calling for the harassment, dogpiling, or brigading of other creators. If you're familiar,
let's see here. We're gonna make a flow chart there.
Like, it's not exactly like all.
So we have here creators, viewers, commenters, and the general public. The line between these four connections, because I'm going to list them as four, because that's close enough for you to get. One could assume that a person who is a fan of a creator is going to be in their Discord. Maybe not always. For some people, this may vary. I know this varies for myself. But generally, the viewers of a creator are going to be the people who are also the commenters, whose opinions are going to be seen by the general public. So there's a give and a take here, right? So you have an arrow for the general public and an arrow for the commentators, where one side is getting the opinion from the other that is discounted from the other, and so on, and so on, and so on, right? Because information is disseminated from the creator down to the viewers, then the viewers are talking about it in the comment sections, the general public is interacting with the commenters in the comment section, and they're giving them their version of context, from which they may have received directly from what was shown to them from the creators. So the assumption here is, because I know this is gonna look very fucking sloppy, but the assumption here is creators aren't responsible for the actions of their audience. I'm gonna put viewers. Shorten word. They're not responsible for the actions of their
Y'all suck dick in the cafeteria?
Some people did. They were very lazy. There was very dark corners.
Aw.
Creators not responsible for the actions of viewers, but they are responsible. That was a very late reaction from you. But they are responsible.
I was just now reading it on chat.
Was the large tits parts necessary? Yes. They literally cannot get over the fact that Jay is a woman. Every single time, they immediately assume she is a man. There's one time they assumed that I was her. Like, there was a time where somebody assumed that I was you. There was a time that they assumed that one of my personal friends was me doing, like, in-character cosplay on a Twitter account, which is weird, because that's Olivia's account. There were people who confused me for Poe. There were people who confused Poe for me.
The racism. The racism. Oh, don't you know how black people look alike?
Focus, Carl. Creators are not responsible for the actions of viewers, but they are responsible for their own actions. And the behavior they are willing to tolerate. So cross-platform bans, self-censorship, and I'll say pointing out harassment stemming from public discourse. And I'll put unfair in the front because some of it is just public discourse, but also some of it is just unfair. So if somebody talks shit about you and they put it behind a paywall and they base their critique of you based on said lies, and it's not able to be seen why it's a lie because the information is cyclical, that's why. That's also not how you spell discourse, Carl. Creators are not responsible for the actions of viewers, but they are responsible for the actions and the behavior that they're willing to tolerate in their spaces. This is the most important factor to actually preventing the dogpiling and the harassment campaigns. If someone like Destiny can inform the idea of cross-platform bans, where somebody who has a hatred of someone else uses their audience as a safe haven, and they are spewing these opinions while at the same time hiding behind the association they could make to said person, it is within the right of that person, in this case Destiny, because this is why he has cross-platform bans, to remove that person from every single platform you are on. Ban them from your fucking Reddit. I will never have a Reddit. Ban them from your Twitter, ban them from your Discord, ban them from your YouTube live streams, ban them from the comment section. Persona non grata, they are no longer allowed to have an ability to speak here. This is fair to do when you're dealing with certain kinds of situations. So let's say, for example, somebody who is a fan of me hates Jay. They talk shit about Jay in my comment section, but not in places where I'd notice. So they're talking in the in the offline chat of the stream, where they are meeting up with other people who are also Jay haters, right? And they will never talk about it during the live stream. But one time, one of these people makes a mention of something like this in my comment section during a live stream. And I see it, and I'm like, hey, wait, what the fuck? That's not cool. Why do you say that? And then they say, oh, well, I'm not the only one. So-and-so also hates this. I'm not going to address this shit on air, but what I will do is I'll be like, hey, this person seems to have a problem with you. Do you want to talk to them? She can say yes or no. But what I can do past that is, bro, can you not, like, I know you might have strong opinions of them, but you have to understand you don't have a place in my conversations. You don't have a place in who I choose to be around and have friends with. And if you dislike that, you can leave. I'll be sad that you go, but you don't get to control what I do. If it goes to the point where they're saying, well, you're just going to be a simp for them. You just agree with them because they give you what you want. You're a cuck, Carl. How dare you, Carl? I get to say, okay, ban. And if somebody reacts to that and they're like, oh, do you want to join them too? Ban. And it's like, oh, Carl's banning people from the chat because he doesn't want to hear their opinions. And it's like, no, you just told me that the only reason why I support them is because I want to use them. I don't. The only reason why you're fighting back against this is because you're upset about it. No. At that point, you're trying to control the narrative of what you claim the problem is. Let's say that then blows up. Then it becomes, hey, Carl's banning people in the chat because there's something he doesn't want us to know. We gotta go find out what that is. And it's like, no, there's no deeper context. There is no explanation. There is no secret. They're just upset that they're getting removed because I'm not giving them a haven to attack somebody unfairly. Or, let's say it's about something that might be of context. Let's use something that is like deep in the coral. The fact that I've had people dox me publicly. And they will attack me because, Carl, how dare you use somebody's real name? Don't you know that that can lead to actual harm? And it's like, bro, they came to my house. They tried to go to my house and they tried to gun me down in the street. What are you talking about? Am I supposed to be charitable to people who are trying to assassinate me? Yeah, you should, Carl. Don't you know? People could get hurt for that. And it's like, all right, ban. Well, you can't have that opinion, Carl. What if people wanted to just have a nice, polite conversation with you? Yeah, I'm sure that assassin would like to have a nice, polite conversation after he's done putting 2 on my chest, but I'm not gonna let that happen. What I'm willing to tolerate and what I'm willing to allow to be discussed is my prerogative. If a person decides that they want to use my chat as a safe haven to talk shit about one of my personal friends or one of my colleagues or one of my mutuals because they don't like their content, but they're not ballsy enough and they're not confident enough to say it to their face, so they're going to go to a place where they feel they're safe to say it, I can do that. This is actually the logic behind why people will say, why you can't let Nazis in your space, because if there's a Nazi saying something and you're not pushing back against them, that is a safe space for Nazis, because then they're gonna know that they're not, they have unironically said this shit. In fact, let me see if I can actually pull up the very fucking podcast where they said this shit, because this had to be something with Fanatic. It's a black motherfucker. It's the black individual that I showed you that thing from. You know, the guy who said he had a panel? That guy is in that panel.
It's a black motherfucker. You know, for Nazis, Carl.
I don't know. Are they still buddies and is the ass fat? Watch this at your own leisure, people. I'm trying to laugh so fucking hard. It's so fucking dumb. So, they will use this as the logic to say, we have to deplatform this person because we've associated with them with Nazis and they have Nazi-like rhetoric, and because they have Nazi-like rhetoric, therefore, if we don't deplatform them, you are allowing them to have a safe space to proliferate their power with Nazis and give them the ability to grow a Nazi base, and therefore, since they're not willing to attack the people that we don't like, that we labeled Nazis, because it's very rarely ever able that it's actually a real one. We never find a real one, guys. It's very rare. There only ever seem to be people who are women catfishing on the internet for some weird fucking reason. When you actually are able to find a legitimate one, it is usually them talking about someone that they don't like and labeling them as such. They use the logic that if you don't deplatform them because we said that they're bad, we're going to say you're bad too, and that you're giving a safe space for the bad people that we don't like to gather. If I decide, no, I'm not going to get rid of a person in my fandom because they draw fucking ecchi porn, I don't care. What does their ecchi porn have to do with my ideas? Nothing. What does their viewpoints about the world have to do with my personal views? Nothing. You can't cap to this. I'm not capping to this. Fuck off. Then it goes to self-censorship, right? So, I don't want to associate with somebody like Vaush. I would never want somebody like that in my environment. I don't want them as a friend. I don't want them as a business partner. This is important because this has already happened. I've already made these steps. I've already done this shit. So, if they do something stupid and I tell them, listen, I'm your friend, but as your friend, stop being fucking stupid, and they say, no, I want to keep being fucking stupid. When I cut them off publicly, that's it. That's my prerogative. It's like, Carl, come on. They're a victim. Don't you know that they have 17 brothers and sisters they have to take care of? Okay, that's nice. They probably should have been thinking about that before they did an illegal action, or before they did something that was really stupid that contributes to the problem that they claim they're all about. People in the chat know what I'm talking about. And then, pointing out harassment that stems from an unfair public discourse. When somebody decides to use social media as an activistic route in order to remove your ability to defend yourself, let me see if I can pull up the one for him and not accidentally scroll over some porn. I don't know. We tweet a lot of shit and I don't look at it a lot.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't look at the porn. You reblog or retweet.
I mean, if it's not hentai, I don't care. Real women? Nah, not on Twitter. They can be mid. Trying to make sure I can find it. Because if I don't see it here, I'm just going to go to iShow Speeds. Because that'll be easier. Also, it's very good that I did cancel that, because I remembered what Poe fucking tweeted with the guy in the woman's fucking outfit. Oh, Lord. Alright, this will actually be useful. This one comes from Merc the English. Hot take. IShowSpeed did nothing wrong. I'm sure you know who IShowSpeed is, right?
Is it that fucking spastic nigga who keeps screaming for no reason?
The 17-year-old Valorant got banned. That one.
Yeah, but like, isn't that his thing that he
Yes.
keeps screaming?
Yes, that is a stick.
Yeah. Nah, cool.
IShowSpeed did nothing wrong. People talk shit and he talks shit back. People are mad because he said it on stream and he's notable. When your teammates talk shit about you not clutching in Rainbow Six Siege or Valorant, it's their fault that I'm the only player left alive. You died. It's funny how the ones that die first talk the most shit if you fail during a clutch. Damn, I can't believe you didn't carry my dead weight to the finish line. You suck. Fuck them. When people do this, not Mark's not doing the thing I'm talking about. When people do what Jake Lucky did. Let me pull up Jake Lucky's tweet. Of course, he changed it to Jake Sucky.
Why you don't zoom into Twitter? I can't see it. Can nobody see that shit?
Because this is on the wrong screen, Jay. In order to do this, I'd have to use the long screen. I'd have to use the long filter, which is this one. Then I have to pull it over and zoom it in. See?
No, I mean, like, zooming into your browser. Your browser has its own zoom thingy.
I know.
You don't need to do that.
I know. But you see, I'd have to resize this, have to bring this down.
No, you don't.
Jay, I'm literally telling you.
Trust me on this.
I already know. I know about F11. Okay? I know about F11. It changes the size of the screen.
I know what the hell I'm talking about.
What are you talking about then?
All you gotta do is go back to the other window, the wide one you were in, and then just zoom in with your browser.
Oh, you just want me to use the fucking zoom function.
What are you talking about this time, you fuzzy bastard?
Cause it's not gonna put the whole fucking thing in frame, that's why. Duh.
Yes, it is. It's gonna give you thank you. And just move it over.
I can't.
Like, so your browser comes with tools. It has its own shit.
So you never... So you need indexing your... But see, now they don't have the fucking full thing on the screen, nice properly framed and shit.
Scroll up.
I can't scroll up.
No way to scroll up.
This is the top of the screen. This is scrolled up.
Why did you cut off half the screen?
Because it was made so that I could zoom in should I need to. I have different
I
filters.
don't understand how you have all these problems. I don't get it.
Look,
I
because
have no problem with people. Like, people know me and how I don't know if anyone in chat watches my NOCs, but people know, like, I can easily zoom in without going into OBS. I zoom in through my browser.
I zoom in by making filters.
With my browser.
I zoom in by making filters.
See, I think you're doing something wrong here. I think that's the problem.
Stop being pedantic.
I think there is a problem here, though. No, you know what? I'm looking at it right at, like, all right, wait. Did you capture your browser, or is this some other shit?
This is window capture.
Yes. What?
Window capture, filter, crop/pad. They're sized differently. I have different filters for different sizes, for different uses.
I don't know what's wrong with your shit. I really
There's
don't.
nothing wrong with it! There's nothing wrong with it. That's just how I do the screen.
European nigga.
Like, I have it specifically sized so that I can use a different filter for different contexts.
I did the shit in with the metric system.
Oh my God, I hate you so much. I can't stand either of you right now. I can't stand either of you right now. Well, no. This, right here. This thing. Because now I gotta pull this over and put this here. Just because we can say the N-word does not mean we should be using it, ladies and gentlemen.
Also, you have that white thing. You have to have the notepad open all the time.
No, it doesn't need to be open all the time. But you remember, I'm...
Just right when you need it. Jeez.
What?
I have to overload my screen with shit.
I'm not trying to ruin my shit again. I can't stand you right now. Anyways, back on topic. before I fucking blow a goddamn vein. Oh. Jake Lucky takes a situation with ISO Speed and uses his platform to destroy the platform of someone he doesn't like. Because he is, one, coming up in the game, and two, ensuring that the only context that it will be seen in is in the context of him being a misogynist. Not that he's been a victim himself, or that he is a young 17-year-old child that is doing what 17-year-old children do. No, the context here is he's misogynist, he's an abuser, he is the villain that we are going to attack today. Modulate him. This is the number one. This is the reason why we have number 2 and number 3 to deal with number 4. Right? That's why we have those things. It's the reason why we have those contexts there. It's the reason why that fucking matters. Now I have to resize this shit again. Pull it back the fuck down. I blame you.
It's not my fault you know how to work this shit.
Cease. Cease just woohoo. It's all unsized and shit. I gotta put it back in the right fucking magnification. No, that's too big. There. But it is people like Jake Lucky that make this necessary. Right? Because of his choice to use the public to effectively remove Show Speed's side of the situation, he doesn't get to have his voice heard now. People have already decided what they wanted to do. And because of that, he will never get to have the justice he deserves. And that is because that is how people use the discourse. That is unfair, and people should not be allowed to do that. Period. They have to be responsible for what they're willing to do. You don't have to be responsible for a member of your audience being a fucking spurg on the internet. But you do have to be responsible for when you're being a spurg on the internet. Moving on.
Familiar with these spaces, you're probably familiar with this approach. Recently, Vaush did this to a creator some of you may know. Her name is Natalie Wynn, aka ContraPoint's LeftTube's mom. In the aftermath of the Vaush JK Rowling ironic misogyny debacle, none of those words are in the Bible. Natalie criticized Vaush for centering himself in the conversation on trans advocacy. And then, during his stream, Vaush said this.
The thing that really bothers me is, like, is this not exactly like all of the woke scolds who would reply to ContraPoints and say stuff like, are you done invalidating the voices of trans women who have been hurt by your content? It's such a shitty, presumptuous woke scold kind of behavior because you're presupposing, the more viewer in the replies being like, that's not what's happening right here. Like, this is necessary, okay? Publicly shame her into changing your mind on this.
So what he did here is harassment. With 7,000 people watching, he made an explicit command to his supporters, telling them to go pile onto Natalie with support for his position until she changed her mind, or, bent the knee, as it were. And lo and behold, his audience followed suit. And shortly after this, Natalie ended up locking her Twitter account and blocking Vaush. Now, I'm not a mind reader, okay? I can't pretend to know exactly what her motivations here were for doing these things. What I can tell you, as someone who has gone through what I would consider a similar experience, being dogpiled by Vaush fans, this response does not surprise me at all. In the face of being flooded with massive amounts of undue condescension, I completely understand the decision to go private and block him. Doesn't matter how big your platform is or how experienced you might be, this stuff can really take a toll on you. This dogpiling is one of the things that drove Lindsay Ellis, another prominent video essayist, into quitting YouTube altogether.
Here's the thing about that. We gotta talk about that. I'm not gonna write that down because I've already given my take about this.
Go private and block him. Doesn't matter how big your platform is or how experienced you might be, this stuff can really take a toll on you. This dogpiling is one of the things that drove
So, Lindsay Ellis quitting the internet is not the result of her getting harassment. It is the course of course, same thing, same context. Extra context. It makes it really easy and very, very boring when you have to look this shit up, but it's important because this is actually more interesting than that. Lindsay Ellis quit the internet because she cultivated an audience of cyberbullies.
Mm-hmm.
And the audience of cyberbullies turned on her because their care for looking for supposed racism and her making a comparison between Atla, Avatar the Last Airbender, and Raya the Last Dragon was higher than considering the fact that literally before that came to its conclusion, she made her video mask off to justify how she could attack her own audience for trying to cyberbully her. Literally calling them alt-left. Or worse, diet Nazis. And how she had to take responsibility for the fact that she couldn't blame the right wing. She had to accept the fact that it was her audience. It was our guys. That's the actual truth behind that. Much of that here in this blowback is the same cycle that fed back into Noah Samson. Just that it wasn't his audience attacking himself. It was the other left-wing audiences, who normally would be happy to dunk on people who are against them, coming against their own because their figureheads are being assaulted. And so, the figureheads need to attack back, because rather than have a discussion and say, look, I understand where he's coming from. In fact, I understand exactly why he's saying this. I would probably be like this too if I listened to myself talk like this. Instead of that, it is instead, no, this piece of shit, he is so disingenuous. This guy deserves nothing. Ratio him. L plus ratio plus cringe plus unbased plus no bitches. Understanding the difference between Lindsay Ellis doing this to herself by cultivating the cyberbully audience and being a victim of the cyberbullying because someone decided you deserved it. Look into examples with me in Elden Ring, which is where we get this lovely fucking thread from my fucking Twitter, which y'all can go scroll through that because it's going to stay pinned for like the next week. And you can go see the wonderful views and opinions of people who don't like me and all the shit they get into on the social media platforms. These things, they're congruent, but they're not perpendicular to each other. They're similar, but they're not the same. And they certainly aren't the same context.
Lindsay Ellis, another prominent video essayist, into quitting YouTube altogether. I mentioned before how Vaush offered me a cash bounty of double my ad revenue if I deleted my video. Well, when I did actually take the video down for a short period of time, he made a point to say that while his offer did still stand, it wasn't meant to be like a threat. It was intended as more of a chest-beating mafia-style sort of bluff thing.
It does make me look bad though. It was meant to be kind of like a mafioso chest beating thing, which I only did because I've been
haircut on a
compromised by this,
piece of shit.
In a way, I understand. I didn't see it as even interesting. The problem
He still has the man bun. He still has the man bun.
Oh, god damn it.
that though is what this sentiment results in. When Vaush says stuff like this,
It's like a little poof in the back.
he might be using ironic bravado or whatever, but his following, when they say it, when they call me a spineless loser that should delete his channel and make fun of me for stuttering and various other bad stuff, they mean that shit. These people become emboldened by this rhetoric to act in a manner that might on the surface just seem abrasive, but in actuality ends up being just genuinely abusive and coercive. And much like how each tweet from his fans that went after Natalie all berated her with the same message, that she's wrong, with the intent of bullying her into changing her mind, each comment on my video was essentially a copy and paste of his statements, with the intended goal of bullying me into deleting it. I'm not liking this floof here. How do I get rid of the floof? Haircut? Is that how you do it? It does make me wonder, like, how much of this is motivated by his fans' genuine beliefs, and how much of it is them just following orders. And while the exact ratio may be tough to find, I do know that were he not to make
He was flashing pictures of Keffels there when he said ratio. So he's referencing the fact that Keffels is basically still molding, which I'm pretty sure is probably still happening. Hold on. So Keffels is the trans individual that is responsible for getting him removed. Let's read some of these tweets directly verbatim. 2 hours ago, transphobes keep finding out that I started transition as a minor and telling me that society failed me. No, I am living my best life. I love myself and am surrounded by people who love me. Society failed every trans person who didn't have the same opportunity that I have. Right before that, I went to a women's only college and used the women's section of the gym and only used women's restroom in public for a decade. Stay mad, I don't care. Let's go a couple of days before that. Well, actually, no. I don't even need to do that. Destiny already posted it for me. I can't spell. That is not what I'm looking for. I'll just have to use his. Media. And scroll. Here we go. So, Keffels was complaining 4 days ago, 5 days ago, about how, as they're trying to talk about issues, the chat is constantly mocking her with ratios. And this wonderful fucking tweet, where people who criticize me say I only care about ratios, but then when I try to focus on actual issues affecting trans people, they won't shut the fuck up about ratios. Even in my replies here, people are heckling me about ratios when I'm saying that I want to talk about important issues. So this is just the sowing and the reaping, right? Keffels is trying to sow. She sowed the Discord and created the scenario that created Destiny now becoming a YouTube streamer. And she's now reaping the consequences of them turning on her and now mocking her after they were done mocking Destiny. The cycle has been completed. This, unfortunately, is what Noah's trying to talk about. This is what he's referring to. How much time between an audience deciding a person deserves to be mocked and a person's reaction, whether they told their audience to or not, or they gleaned that the audience should or not, how much time between is the intention of the audience and how much of that is people on the internet being people on the internet? Which leads us to number 5. How do I want to word this? There is a point where criticism... I can't spell again. I can't spell! Jay, help!
No, that's how you spell it.
No, I was failing to spell it before. Where criticism and harassment can be one and the same if the person speaking never intended to be good faith in the first place. And this is the reason why I started my video. Bing, bang, bada boom, pow. This is the reason why I started this with this. Harassment isn't criticism.
I need you to write down the following words. Do so with black and then red ink, okay? It goes like this. Criticism isn't harassment, comma, switch to red, or switch back to black, large file type, italics, underline, 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 or incitement. Criticism isn't harassment or incitement.
Criticism isn't harassment or incitement. Now, why do I choose these specific words? And can I underline this? I feel like I need to underline this. Damn, it won't let me do that. I wish word print was much easier than this. But fine. Now, why do I choose this exact terminology? Why do I choose to explain this in this way? Based on what we see here. Creators giving their opinions. Then slimming down to viewers, taking their opinions. That's not how you spell opinion. Will assume those opinions are truth. Commenters then interacting with those viewers. Because it's a very long game of telephone, you see. The creators will give their opinions, whether they are fact or not. And viewers will take their opinions, and then will assume those opinions are truth, because it's word of God. Creators are word of God. So, if somebody accuses me of being a sex pest, and I say, no, I'm not, and then I produce the proof that says I am not, that is the word of God. Users take that opinion, and then they will assume that opinion is truth, because why would he lie? Carl? Sex pest? Women? Abuse? The only abuse he wants is people stepping on his balls. And other interesting things that people have actually said in my defense. Not joking. That will then be disseminated to commentators. And they will take all opinions, not just theirs, and attempt to find the truth in the statements. Which then, when it gets to the general public, will assume the most repeated thing is true. And then everything else gets thrown out. That is the cycle of how it goes. Carl is for call and pop culture. I am going to refuse to comment. So, creators, they give their opinions whether or not they are word of God. The viewers are going to take their opinions, and they're going to assume that the most hardline positions they have, whether they come with evidence or not, is true. The commenters are going to take every opinion that they hear, and they're going to try to find out the truth in the states of their opinions, and the general public will only assume that the most repeated thing is true. Which really, I'm describing Twitter right here. I'm describing how Twitter works. Whether or not somebody believes me is not my concern. I have to tell what I know to be true. And then, from what I see, I'm going to take said opinion, and rather than assuming that it's true, because even if I'm a viewer of somebody, I still have critical thinking skills, I'm going to take everything I hear, and I'm going to compile it in my brain, and I'm going to start working through the arguments one by one. Figure out, is it true? Is it false? Where's the evidence? Where's the context? What's the details? All this shit will then become part of what I choose to say from my position. And then the cycle begins again. Somebody who's dishonest, they'll do the same thing. Are you sleeping? Jay is unconscious, everybody. She's working very hard. Okay, so the general public will not be like creators that want to investigate the truth. So take something like EFAP. They want to get to the bottom of something, they're going to watch the context on stream, and they're going to give their take. They're going to watch what they have to say. Oh my god, I just fucking noticed that. L plus ratio plus plus can't spell plus no candy plus no alcohol plus no bitches. Hello, Mask Morales. How are you doing? They're gonna take their opinion. They're gonna use that opinion to then inform what they think is gonna be the audience. They're gonna continue from there. The general public is gonna take whatever they see, and whatever is the most common truth that they see is gonna be what they end up repeating. Creators are not gonna be responsible for the actions of this cycle, because they aren't responsible for what people choose to start trending about. Let's use Will Smith as an example. If I make a meme about Will Smith, and someone comes to me and says, Carl, you can't make fun of Will Smith. Yes, you did. You forgot the yee-ass haircut. You forgot the yee-ass haircut. You cannot come to me and say, Carl, how dare you make fun of Will Smith? Don't you understand that the black community needs to stand together and that we have not and do not deserve to be insulted on such a level? How dare you? How dare you insult one of our black leaders? And I'm like, bro, I'm just laughing at memes. I'm not responsible for his broken marriage. The fuck? That's how that works. Right? Because if I criticize, hey, Will Smith, go find your Tupac. Please. Leave Jada. You broken? She has broken you. Go find her. She's out there. She's waiting for you. Me doing that is not the same thing as me saying, hey, yo, let me send this fucking mixtape of my rap about how Will Smith needs to leave his wife directly to his inbox. And then while I'm on top of doing that, let me sell merchandise where I'm directly mocking him myself with my face plastered on it. Happy and big, like, ha ha! Not the same. Because criticism is not harassment or incitement. Because I chose to make a joke does not mean that it is carte blanche for everyone in my audience to personally attack Will Smith and send horrible memes and jokes at him, based in spite. That is not acceptable. At the same time, I am not responsible if somebody in my chat chooses to do that of their own volition. I hear about it and I say, bro, that's fucked up, but I'm also not responsible for that. Does that make sense, everybody? Everyone understand? Wonderful. Are you with us, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
You kind of conked out there, girl.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did.
These statements and commands.
Chat will back me up this time. I have witnesses!
Mm.
It doesn't matter.
This dogpiling would not be taking place. It's precisely this effect, the collective Vaush unconscious, that had me legitimately doubting my own intentions with my video. The influx of this type of stuff in the week after its release is part of what led me to actually taking the video down for a little bit. If you read things like this enough times, it really starts to get into your head. The combination of them being so confident that they're correct, while airing these feelings of victimization with such condescension, this is what eventually results in people being forced to fall in line by this community. It results in damage control when things come out that make them look bad, and it's a really problematic dynamic. Another more recent example of this dynamic can be found in an extremely long and complicated interaction that Vaush had with the YouTuber Cat Black. To be clear, this one was a mess. As such, I'm only going to look at one specific example from it that relates to what I'm talking about here. I will try to give as much context as is necessary. So around the time of Vaush's JK Rowling stuff, Cat made a tweet thread asking specifically trans women in her audience about the efficacy of the ironic misogyny Vaush displayed. So basically asking, what do we think about this? Vaush eventually messaged her about the thread, and they went back and forth. Cat ended up leaking these DMs when she felt that Vaush had misrepresented their contents to his stream. So during this exchange, Vaush's community attempted to rewrite the order of events with the goal of discrediting Cat by painting her as a sexual abuser. Their justification for this accusation was that Cat had made sexual comments about Vaush without his consent. Pictured here. What this accusation is leaving out, though, is that what she said here was directly responding to Vaush saying this on his stream while referencing Cat.
Yeah, Vaush, pretty much exactly what Cat states season 2. All right, are you guys ready for the mildest hot take in the universe? Okay. Super idpol, like, lefty black women who are, like, really condescending to white people in terms of their ability to engage in political discourse. Love fucking white dudes. It's the exact same reason that...
That's just true. Racist people really love the opposite race a lot. That's just taboo, you know? You see a white woman, she says Zeke Heil, you're like, ooh, come give me a Fremenwaffe. You know what I'm saying? It's just normal. It's just what happens, guys. It's just what fucking happens. But no, deadass. That's just true. That happens. However, the next part.
Racist white guys all watch interracial porn to jerk off to. It's the exact same thing. It's identical. There's no difference. It's literally the exact same goddamn thing. It's
that I don't know about. I don't know about you. I'm not gonna be the kind of person that if I hate somebody, I'm gonna go watch interracial porn of them. You know?
What?
Yo, that's exactly what he just fucking said.
Cat State season 2. All right, are you guys ready for the mildest hot take in the universe? Okay. Super idpol, like, lefty black women who are, like, really condescending to white people in terms of their ability to engage in political discourse. Love fucking white dudes.
Lefty idpol black women love fucking white dudes. The opposite of this is true. Lefty idpol white guys really love fucking black girls. Racists love the characteristics of the race that they're disparaging. It's Neoned. It's Neoned, Jay. It's Neoned all over again. That's a 2000, what is it, 2004? 2005?
2006.
2006 film starring Jeremy Renner and Gabrielle Union, where Jeremy Renner is playing a unabashed neo-Nazi, and he has a fling relationship with Gabrielle Union.
Who thinks she's Hitler?
No, she's pretending she's Hitler.
Well, what?
Yeah. Spoilers. You watch it for yourself. But racist falls in love with black woman, and the love humanizes him. This goes both ways, ladies and gentlemen. However, the next statement.
It's the exact same reason that racist white guys all watch interracial porn to jerk off to. It's the exact
all racist people will watch interracial porn of the opposite sex because they're so hateful that they fetishize the thing that they want to destroy. I am not sure about that. Some people are just fucked up in the head, bro. Wild take.
Exact same thing. It's like,
this is weird because if you know anything about Vaush's background, as Irish Laddie 342, this is the same man who told a chat room of people before the years that Huey Farms existed that he will be king of BreadTube, posting shirtless pictures of himself along with pictures of his nudes, and showing off that wonderful 2-inch chub, claiming, guys, this is what superior physique looks like. Okay, that coming out of his mouth. I can agree with some of these sentiments. However, cap!
Identical, there's no difference. It's literally the exact same goddamn thing. It's true. I'm sorry, guys. People who have like racist thoughts tend to like weirdly fetishize like interracial race shit for like probably reasons they should be more critical of.
So neither of these things are good, right? Weird, sexually charged, invasive race play fetish rants are bad. Body shaming and leaking DMs are also bad, generally speaking. Her reasoning for leaking the DMs justifies the leak, in my opinion, but that's just me. However, while people can argue back and forth about which of these is worse, the point here is that the offensiveness of what Vaush said was almost completely ignored, while the offensiveness of what Kat said has been singled out and used as a line of attack. I'm not making a comment about which is worse. We shouldn't do either, but the point stands, especially given that her tweet is directly responding to this invasive rant from Vaush. He said that stuff first. There is a different standard being applied here by this audience of people, and that's bad. Also, what's important to note here is that Kat later acknowledged her mistake in making this comment about Vaush in a tweet thread. But did Vaush acknowledge making any mistakes here, like talking about her in that manner on his stream? I don't know, and I have no plans of watching.
No, the answer is no, he did not. It didn't happen. He didn't care. Because it only existed within the frames of a live stream. This is actually a wonderful thing. Not this, but the thing I'm about to type down. Number 6. The biggest reason why shit stirs are unapologetic about their involvement in drama is that they only live for the live stream and any congruent avenue that benefits their platform.
You're typing so studiously.
I'm dyslexic and I want to make sure I don't make many more mistakes, goddammit. Let somebody...
I meant the way you were... just the way you're sitting.
I have good posture. It's how I can throw it back. A bow! And this is shortened to TLDR. They only exist on live streams. They only exist on live streams, and drama content isn't evergreen. The reason why Vaush does what he does, the reason why Ian chooses to do what he does, is because he doesn't need to be apologetic. He is going to always be unapologetic. And individuals that will do this kind of behavior are only ever going to address something when it... Oh my god, I put the Hassan blowing up to bigger drama. They're only ever going to care about their involvement in something when it blows up into bigger drama and becomes something that they physically cannot contain the backlash of. And they do this mostly because they only live in the context of a live stream. Anything that is an avenue for them to have an immediate satisfaction and gratification for something they say or something they tweet or something they make a video about is only going to benefit them towards the continued insurance of the cash cow. I wouldn't say that it's like a golden cow, you know, golden cow, golden milk, keep the money fucking rolling and coming. It's that the drama itself is evergreen, but the drama topic isn't. So imagine that drama is like a physical constant of the universe. You want problems! Problems always! But you don't get to control the context that the problem comes in, right? So let's relate it to me. Last week, I was attacked by Elden Ring's fans of a creator called Illusory Wall, because Illusory Wall quote tweeted something that I said, which was actually taking a picture of the response that was being talked about in their quote tweet. And because I'm a person who likes documenting evidence and information, I took the quote tweet of the quote tweet and put a screenshot so that people, because when you make a quote tweet, it doesn't always show what the person is replying to. And I posted a picture so that people can see what was being replied to. Those people wanted to then try to dogpile me. Because how dare you? Don't you know all us 17.5k followers know more about Elden Ring than you do? They were constantly bitching and moaning and seething and whining and crying. So I took a CVS file, blanket ban, basically using the Meganute function. It's a bot that exists so that you can be able to block people who are part of a big following of something that has been posted or tweeted. But then I unblocked him. And then I took that big following, put it in the CVS file, went through the list of people, and I just started pulling their social media information in order for us to create this thread of mine. In order to make this possible. And as you all should know by now, the reaction from them doing this was to report the account because I was exposing them. The consequence that they did not expect to happen was that I was going to go past them to punish them for the action. They only cared as far as they could be able to control the reaction and the consequence. Nothing else mattered. Nothing else mattered. Didn't matter about the context. Didn't matter about the situation. Didn't about the fact that I was right. All that mattered was, we're attacking you. You're a victim. We're going to victimize you. All you get to do is delete your tweet. And so instead of just acquiescing to public pressure, I mocked them. As long as I was the victim, and it was shit on Carl Day, didn't matter. The moment I made them take blowback for it, that's when they fully attacked. That's when the Fire Nation attacked, and they had to silence me from speaking. This is the same thing here. It only exists on online live streams to make bigger drama. It's not evergreen, and they have to keep cycling the drama in order for it to happen. They only live for anything that happens that keeps it going. It's like a pyromaniac. They try to start a fire at a building. If the fire doesn't catch, move to another building, start another fire. Not just keep trying to set the building off in a flame, you know? Any target will do.
A 7-hour stream to find out. Maybe he did, but based on how his community still calls her a sexual harasser to this day, I have my doubts. And okay, so another thing somebody might say here is, well, Noah, doesn't your video encourage people to dogpile onto debate bros? It does paint them in a pretty bad light. Why is what you've done just considered criticism, but when we do it, it's harassment? And the thing is, you would be right to ask these questions. I'm willing to acknowledge that videos like mine contribute to this culture. They create negative impressions that can lead to dogpiling. It took me going through all of this to realize that this is one of the responsibilities of having a platform. And it's something I plan on taking seriously moving forward. You can't control what everyone does online, obviously, but you can take steps to be more responsible. So something like making it clear to my audience that if they're going to comment on someone's work who I'm criticizing, don't do it unless you're going to be constructive, or at least not be a dick. But my video's lack of disclaimers is so much different than Vaush actively weaponizing his audience against other creators, dogpiling them and coercing them into getting what he wants. And I think that difference is worth taking into account. And despite this difference, despite the fact that my video essay did not explicitly call for any public action against Vaush, as he's done here.
Are you okay, Jay? She's unconscious again.
Here, I do recognize that it still could have had the same effect, which again is why, not just for streamers, but video essays too, and really everyone on this platform with a large audience, we need to be more responsible, especially when we're dealing with people who don't have our same level of protection. Now, I do want to be clear here. Once there was some communication between Vaush and I, once he was at least aware that the video I made did not set out to attack him unjustly, this condescension died down. After around this time, as far as I know, he didn't go out of his way to stir up drama on his stream. The wave of these comments slowed. Also, war started, so that could be part of it, but I didn't do that, so I would never do that. I hate war. He addressed our conflict on a recent stream, and did so in what I felt was a fair manner.
Noah Sampson. I don't think that he's dumb. A lot of people in my community have said he's dumb. I don't actually think that. I think that snark, when applied unwisely, can often come across as dumb because it gives the impression of a sort of confident ignorance of a subject. You know, we'll see how things play out with him.
And I do appreciate this, but there's something missing here if I were to just leave it at that. Because while I'm willing to acknowledge that in our direct interactions, Vaush has been fair to me, what I can't look past is the way that through the mobilization of his community, he has caused harm, not just to me, but to other more vulnerable people. The backlash has been exhausting for me. I hit a low point during the weeks following my video's release, which was the lowest I've been in a long time. But the thing is, no matter how bad this experience might have been for me, ultimately, I've had it easy compared to others, and there are a few reasons for this. I'm someone who already has a decently sized platform. I have a base of online support, and from this direct material stability, I do this full time, and I have the freedom to take breaks when things get heavy. What's more is that I am also afforded certain protections that a lot of other people are not. I cannot be attacked in the same way that marginalized creators can, with the weight of actual discrimination and persecution compounding on top of these attacks, with the attacks themselves being capable of levying transphobia, homophobia, sexism, or racism, of attacking people for who they are. They can't do that to me. What this means is that there's a certain amount of deferential treatment going on here that I think is worth exploring. The deferential treatment in this case being from the communities that are motivated by Vaush's actions. If you want an example of what this deferential treatment looks like, all we have to do is look at what happened to Professor Flowers. Professor Flowers released a video last week that goes over her experience of dealing with the backlash from debating Vaush. In it, she describes how difficult it's been for her to get back to making videos. It's taken her over 6 months to do so, and one of the reasons for this is the racist harassment that she has experienced. And regardless of how you feel that she portrayed herself in their debate or in any subsequent videos or streams, this is something that should be unacceptable. I do recommend that you go watch her video. I'll leave it linked in the description. One of the most frustrating parts about this whole thing is the fact that even by just mentioning her in this video, I have to contend with the fact that I might be reigniting some level of harassment against her and any of the people I mentioned. And that's just really shitty that that's how this has to be. I did get her permission to include her in this video, but the fact that I felt the need to ask, I think says something. Anyways, let's look at one example of differential treatment from her situation. So this is a thumbnail from a prominent Vaush Clips channel featuring an image of a photoshopped black Adolf Hitler. The video that this thumbnail is on is a segment from Vaush's debate with Professor Flowers. The video is titled "Vaush owns a black white supremacist in this debate." It has been deceptively edited to make it seem as though Professor Flowers says things that she doesn't say. This includes a moment where they make it look like she calls her own father an oppressor because he's white. Many viewers took this at face value, commenting how messed up it was that she talked about her family like that, even though she never did. The account admits to having done this, but says that it's fine because according to them, she probably believes it anyway. This is something that should be unacceptable. And before you say that it is, that this sort of behavior is denounced and that members of Vaush's community are purged if they're found acting in racist ways, the channel has 25,000 subscribers. This is more subscribers than Professor Flowers herself has. Professor Flowers tweeted a screenshot of this thumbnail, which made the rounds. The video itself has 25,000 views and a 98% like to dislike ratio, and Vaush follows this account on Twitter. They know about this, they just don't care, or they don't see the racism. And I'm not really sure which one of these is worse, but I think both should be unacceptable.
The last one. The last one's more racist one. It is worse for you to not be aware of something that is being done in your name. Excuse me. Backwards. It is worse for something to be done with your permission, approval, and awareness than for there to be something done with your production, with your face, with your name on it, but you be unaware of it. It is worse for someone to do that and them to say, oh, well, it's fine because he said it was okay, than for someone to take your name and your face and put you up there next to it and say, no, it's okay. Like, they're cool with it. Like, this is him. And you have to be the one to say, no, this isn't okay. I never said you could do this. I'm not a part for this. I'm not down for this. What the fuck is wrong with you? It is much better. I'm going to see if she's awake again. Are you awake?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I couldn't hear you because I had your mic muted because I thought you were still unconscious. I'm sorry. It is worse for someone to do something knowing that you're aware of it and them to say, no, this is acceptable because he said it's fine with it, rather than for someone to blindside you and say, hey, Carl, did you make this cuck video starring you and all your friends? And I say, no. Why would you think that I was okay with this? And then we go to the video and we find out, oh, somebody took clips of my channel and took clips of me during my live stream, and they tried to blackmail me with it, which is something that's happened. Or Clone Vaush trying this and then it failing, or Clone Vaush trying this with Destiny and it failing, or and so etc, etc. There's so many examples of this happening in the left that I'd be stuck here for like 2 hours just going through the ones they did this week. It is worse when people do it knowing that they want to try to create something that should not happen. So, in this comparison, Cat Black inadvertently creating drama by exposing how fucked up Vaush thinks is better, in comparison, than Vaush explicitly playing off the drama and using it to enrich himself. Call it clickbait, call it monetizing your haters, call it just protecting yourself and defending yourself, call it talk shit, get hit. It doesn't matter. One is worse than the other. One is always going to be worse than the other. Both are bad, but one should be worse than the other, especially given the context behind one. But of course, like we were just talking about, like we just demonstrated, the general public is not going to go off of the truth. They're going to go off of the most commonly repeated thing. And when you're talking about an egoist, what people are going to go off of is what they want to be seen and heard.
Mm-hmm.
Related example here of this sort of differential treatment is with a creator that I mentioned earlier, Cat Black. Now, in the past month or so, following this interaction with Vaush, Cat has mentioned how she's experienced racism from white leftists, even more than she's seen from racist white conservatives. Now, for context, Cat is someone who's been around on YouTube for a long time, since 2005 to be precise. Goober Noah for scale here. This is me in 2005. Hello. Technically YouTubing, so that's cool. But my point is, Cat has been doing this for a while. She was on YouTube at the height of the anti-SJW wave, through all the reactionary and alt-right stages of content creators, and she's still uploading today. So when she makes this comment that she's received, quote, way more—
I still wait for somebody to present actual alt-right content coming from the people they usually claim as alt-right.
Mm-hmm. It'll never happen.
Never.
Shit from white leftists than she does from racist white conservatives. Immediately following this conflict with Vaush, with his identity politics arguments being spat at her online, well, that's something that should probably ring some alarm bells, no? A similar sentiment was expressed last month by Professor Flowers during another wave of harassment from Vaush fans. She wrote on Twitter, "I've literally experienced less racism growing up around white conservatives. There seems to be some sort of pattern here that may be worth noting. I don't know what it is, but it's super crazy. Oh my gosh, what happened? I don't know." One of the ways that Vaush and his community operate that serves to control the narrative is by outwardly and loudly condemning harassment when it is made public. I remember tweeting a screenshot of some harassment I received on Reddit DMs from a Vaush fan a while ago. Members of his community, like mods, immediately came in and sort of made a display of the fact that the person harassing me had been banned and that they didn't tolerate that type of stuff. And while I'm inclined to say that this is a good thing, that this is what is supposed to happen, at the same time, I can't help but wonder, why is this still up? Obviously,
It's still up because it gets clicks. That's why. Why would it be happening still if he has the position of saying, hey, we're gonna ban people who are doing this publicly? Again, please address number 2 and number 3. please address 1A and 2 and 3. That is the reason why. That is why. That is why it is happening. Vaush understands the power of good optics. He understands the power of good optics. And it will always be seen as okay when you say, okay, this might be funny, guys, but come on, we have to have some decorum. Because... what was it? Was it 1? Here it is. Because of the veto gamble. I did something good. You should love me. I did good things. I got rid of the people who harassed you. So you should be able to say, I'm not all that bad, guys. Come on. I only like a little bit of horsecock. What do you mean? If it didn't get exposed, or actually no, better case, Kyle Rittenhouse. If we didn't have fucking tapes of Rittenhouse doing what he has now been acquitted of being, if we didn't have the tapes, we would have to go off of circumstantial evidence and hearsay. If Rittenbaum and the other one who he defeated in his search and destroy death match, didn't die, if they had the ability to lie, things could have gone very, very differently because the truth could have been covered up. If the political system was as nearly as rigged as people really seem to believe that it is, it's rigged, but not that rigged. If the system was rigged in the way that people really think it is, truth would never matter, because it's not about the truth, it's about our truth, which happens plenty of times. That's the reason why people's accounts get banned on Twitter. It's not about upholding the beliefs that everyone has and giving them the space in which to have them. I mean, TikTok has even demonstrated this, with a change that says that you're allowed to use slurs to refer to yourself as long as the slur has been reappropriated. Which is, that's weird. It's really weird. Because the only thing that's happening with it is that people are calling other people things, and then when they get suspended for that racist shit on their context, they will then say, no, I didn't say it was okay to use it, we're reclaiming it. But also, fuck those raccoons. If you know what I'm talking about. If people were allowed to have the viewpoints they were allowed to have, we would not nearly have as much discourse about discourse. Because it's not even the discourse, it's the way that we should address discourse. And unfortunately, especially with these clip channels, the clips channels are responsible for most of this drama than the creators themselves doing it. They have a lot more responsibility for the fact that they're the ones saying the dumbass shit. But it's the fact that it's being repeated freely, infinitely. Much like how the problem with child porn isn't just the child's being victimized, but that the victimization is replayed over and over and over again in a captured moment in time, the harassment is very much the same thing. People are living for the hype of the moment, and they are reliving that hype. They're using it to hype themselves up to then go on to do worse shit. And then when they look back on it, they say, well, bro, it wasn't really that bad. Like, come on, man. Like, I only harassed you a little bit. I only said you had a small penis. I only said your wife was responsible for the death of your first child, not the other one. Like, bro, come on. It's not that bad. The hype is what creates the problem. And because they never have to face consequences for their actions, as long as the context has been removed, because they only live in their live streams, and as long as they remove the context, nobody can really know what the danger is. This creates the cycle. This is actually the beginning of the cycle, to be exact. The drama, yes, but then the filtering and the recycling of the drama. That's the problem. That's where it comes from. That's the deeper issue. That's the deeper context.
They know about it.
And what's worse is that he can be able to say, bro, I don't even know about this, but Vaush does here, because Vaush does know about this. He even promoted this shit.
And they haven't done anything. And my guess is that when it comes to people that they've collectively decided are okay to punch down on, people like Professor Flowers, then there's no real incentive to crack down on this stuff. When the people at the top have signaled that being mean and dogpiling the bad people is okay, then why would anyone say anything? If it's not advantageous from a PR perspective, then why bother? A related point here, and something that Lua brings up in her video, is that examples like these really make you wonder just how much racist shit goes on in these spaces unchecked. How many so-called leftists from this community have felt emboldened by Vaush or any one of his orbiters to pile on to Professor Flowers, and how many of them are going to get away with it? How many of them will say years down the line, oh man, that Professor Flowers drama was really crazy, right guys? It was fun while it lasted though. Meanwhile, 6 months of racist harassment that almost resulted in Lua quitting YouTube and worse. And that just really doesn't sit right with me, And I hope it doesn't with you either. I hope this causes you to wonder, like, hey, why does stuff like this only seem to be a problem when people shine a spotlight on it? Are we okay with this sort of deferential treatment for marginalized creators just because it's been greenlit from the top? These are things that I feel like we should be thinking about. But I don't know anything, actually, so don't listen to me. So time has passed, right? And as I said, things have mostly calmed down for me, but I still wanted to speak on this experience, not just because it has been exhausting, but really because I know I haven't seen anywhere close to the worst of it. And that genuinely worries me. It worries me for the people that may experience this without the protections that I'm afforded or without the support base of being somewhat established as a content creator. It saddens me for the people who have already gone through it, people who I know are just trying to do good with the odds stacked against them and being nearly driven off of the platform because of it. I really don't want to see that happen to anyone, and regardless of your opinions of any of the people that I mentioned here, I hope you can understand where I'm coming from when I say that. This video is not a personal attack on any of the creators that I've mentioned. All of this does stem from my concern over mistreatment in online spaces, and thus mistreatment in any form in my name is don't do it, okay? Don't do it. Don't be little freaks, okay? Okay, well, be little freaks, not that kind. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Thanks again to Casetify for sponsoring this video. Go to Case. This wasn't a full retraction with an apology, extended mag, clip type video. I may eventually touch on those in a video or in writing or something, but for now I thought this was the more important thing to talk about, regardless of whether or not you agree with that decision. I hope you understand where I'm coming from there. Anyways, take it out, take it easy, lemons, peace out, and goodbye, and see ya. Bye.
And that is the end of the video, guys. Let me catch up the chat real quick. Jay needs her 8 hours, apparently. Did you sleep enough, Jay?
Hmm?
I'm
awake right now.
I'm just saying. That's what chat's just saying. I'm just saying what chat's saying. I'm just informing them. Don't shoot the messenger. A lot of anti-SJWs are today partisan leftists. Very few anti-SJWs are even close to alt-right. And even though they are usually traditionalist reactionaries, not fascists. I should know. I know a lot of them. We both know a lot of them. And unfortunately, most of them know me because of my shitposting. I didn't even have to dip my toe in this field. They come to me. I will be the king of I can't even say this with serious. I can't say that with a serious face. Somebody might actually believe me. Oh boy. Right, hopefully, these 6 takes, well, 7 and a half, 7 3/4. Yeah, 7 3/4. Hopefully, these 7 3/4 will make it easier for people to understand why this shit happens. Who knows if this video will be evergreen? But that is the content. And as the video ends, so does the stream, ladies and gentlemen. I have been SinglePlayerCarl. This has been Jay. Absolute Solution Jay. And we...
What?
I said I was giving you a chance to sign off for the stream, and you started.
I was daydreaming that time.
Were you daydreaming about 365 days?
No. Anyway, Jay Longbone signing off.
Chat, we're going to hell. We're insane. We're sleep deprived and we're all going to hell. But not today. Maybe not tomorrow. But I don't know. But I'll let you know when we see you next time. Alright, goodbye, everybody. Fucking Christ.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Bye. 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 Goodbye. 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 Eat your vegetables.
Ended, Carl. Jeez.
The same with anger. I can't stop laughing. I don't want to be bad. I want jokes, always.